Exactly.
Wait, so let me tell you this. So we raised the skirt of the one underskirt that we got, and
Uh-huh.
we decided to stitch it all with like gray thread because it was a stronger thread and it made it easier for her to see. And I
Uh-huh.
keep thinking that there's spiders on the fabric every time I lift it, like they keep jumping.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I
Fun.
was I wanted like ribbons on this one because there's flowers on all the other dresses.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd keep it like nice big ribbons or like super ribbony. So I have all these like, not so backwards, but I have all these little ribbons,
Yeah.
but I think that they're too small.
Yeah.
What do you think? Eh,
Well,
I'm
because,
thinking
like, they're
like
fine
really big
right
ones
now.
now.
Because
Hmm?
they're fine, like, looking at it this close, but you do have to think they're gonna not be that close in a picture.
Yeah. Well, I just think they get lost. Like they're not anywhere on the upper part, but because I was gonna take these and then kind of
Uh-huh.
scallop it. I don't want it to look too house on the prairie, but I spent all this time stitching these little ribbons, and now that I have them on there, I don't like them. So now I'm thinking like big white ones. What do you think?
Ooh, that could work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'll help make it super frilly, which is what I'm after.
Uh-huh.
So Steven took a line drive right to the ankle today. I mean, this kid like crushed it. He was playing second, I think,
Uh,
and he just had his glove like here, and it hit like right before it hit the ground. It just caught him like dead in the side of the ankle. I thought he broke his ankle.
oh my.
He didn't fall down. He just stopped, so he was down anyway because he was gonna catch it,
Yeah.
and then it went like it just missed his glove, I guess. And so we thought it went like under his glove, and he had like stopped it with his glove in the ground. But
Uh-huh.
then he wasn't throwing it, and everybody's yelling. We're like, throw it, throw it, throw it, throw it so fast. And he didn't move, and he had his head down, so we couldn't see his face because of his cap. And then one of the other boys was like, he's hurt. I felt so bad.
Oh,
He did. It was a good bruise too.
nice.
So, you know, Mike went and just like threw him over his shoulder and headed out. It's funny. Nothing a little ice cream wouldn't fix though.
That's how we solve every issue.
Ice cream and Wawa, man.
For real.
So when are you gonna be able to come up for the shoot? Can I have you for the whole weekend?
Yeah, I could say, like, this weekend's gonna, like, this week I cannot miss school because the play for the school is we have Thursday matinee, Thursday night show, and a Friday night show.
Uh-huh.
So they have all day play practice on Wednesday, and then Thursday after the matinee they're allowed to leave, and then they have all day practice Friday.
Right.
So that means there's like 7 of us who are in the play, which means the 7 of us who are in the play have to use snack bar every day. So I can't miss school because we have to use snack bar. And so,
Okay.
but next week, I don't think we're doing anything.
Well, I don't necessarily need you to miss school either. I have the 22nd to the 24th set apart. I definitely I want to try to get up to the Chris residence and go hang out with Sienna and Jacqueline.
Uh-huh.
Because she's making all the food right now, and I want to go get some behind the scenes videos and photos of the food being made. You know, we moved it, so we're gonna do it here on the grounds here.
Yeah,
And
I saw that.
I was gonna do it in the gardens originally, but it's too manicured, and I want to use the gardens for the shoot with the butterfly book.
Mhm.
Which now I'm kind of going back and forth with. I might actually take her down and do them in like the botanical gardens or Longwood Garden. for that instead of doing it here, because all the flowers have pretty much bloomed here already. I was just not on my game.
Yeah. Well, there's other stuff going on, and you're working on her dress right now, so you can't even use that.
Yeah. Well, she's not in this dress for that shoot. She's in the original one still.
In the really short one?
Yeah. Well, this one's short too, actually, but it was done on purpose. The other one's like just short enough that it looks like she outgrew it. Because she did. Because it was the right length when we started.
Uh-huh.
Just growing right now.
I know. She's like a weed.
So she's not here this weekend anyway.
Nice.
But yeah, she's still in the other one. The other problem is that the top's getting too tight for her. Like when we took it off the last time, it was like cutting off circulation to her.
Yeah.
To her arms. So
good.
Pain is beauty?
Yeah. Until your child has no circulation in her arms.
You got instant karma. I totally just stabbed myself too. Yeah.
Nice. I'm not really watching you. Sorry. That's why I also took my face off, because it's just sitting on my knee right now. So
Nice.
Would see the ceiling.
We have one viewer right now, and I don't know if that counts as you or if there's somebody else watching. But I posted the link so anybody could actually hop in and hang out.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, oh, I'll just watch it. But then I was like, oh, I'm on my phone now. I don't think I'm going to get my laptop. So I'll just be in the call.
No, because I feel silly when I do them and I'm on screen by myself. Ow.
I know you're on Periscope. You're like, I'm talking to myself.
I do. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, even if I know there's viewers, it's just different to keep talking and not have a conversation back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Katie positively hates the sleeves on this dress.
Still?
Like, every single time she sees it, she's like, I hate the sleeves. I like it. I think they're cute now.
Yeah, I thought that once we got them off her shoulders, she'd like them.
Nope, she hates them.
I like them.
So the only thing I'm missing for the shoot are chairs.
Yeah. Because you just made the tables out of plywood, right?
Yeah, the tables are getting made out of plywood and 2x4s. Because I don't need them. I don't need them to be pretty because we have all the tablecloths and stuff on them.
Yeah.
Which are supposed to be in by Monday.
Great.
So I don't care what they look like really. Yeah. As far as the table itself, because everything's getting covered.
And that way you can kind of destroy them too.
Yeah. They're all probably going to get burned afterwards. Actually, Mike said in the realm of, repurposing and getting the most bang for our buck, he said that he's probably going to use the tabletops and some of the 2x4s to reinforce the bridge.
Gotcha.
Because we want to replace that by the end of the year. That's only a 3-year project we've been going on.
Well, it just got put on hold while he was gone.
Yeah.
Like a year and a half.
He's got the worst excuses. Oh, I gotta go to war. I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
I need to do this.
Oh, well, going back to college. Oh.
So, I've got Jackie making all the food. I've got tons and tons of plates and cups and tea sets now, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I got lots to play with there. They said clear silicone's going to work because I'm actually going to probably attach most of it. Like all of these tablecloths will be gone. I like to be able to reuse stuff, but these are all going to get destroyed. Because I'm probably going to, we got like a spray adhesive. So we'll actually spray down the tabletops and then put the cloth on I just gotta test it and make sure that it's not gonna, like, you know how sometimes when you put like glue on the underside of fabric, like you can see it on the top?
Yeah.
So I gotta make sure that I don't end up making it look like all of the fabrics are stained.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, also, too, the tablecloths, if you're planning on leaving them outside for a day or two to do that, like, once her vision clears thing, they'd be disgusting anyway.
yeah, that's what I'm going back and forth because I really do want to do that. I think in order to do that, because a lot of the flowers that we have are fake flowers.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to like cut down half the yard and fill it with ivy and
That's always a
flowers
just
and
cut down half the yard. The
yeah,
decoration.
that's what it's there for.
Exactly.
Um, but that way some of the flowers and stuff will actually be dead. I can just leave them there on the table. That way they'll stay in the same place and they'll just decay.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Gotta take a picture of me looking miserable cutting all your weeds again.
Yes, absolutely. And but I think all the food has to be gone because I'm not willing to leave food up
Because you'll get bugs.
and animals and it'll be all moldy and gross. Like I draw the line at real food.
Yeah.
Plus I want to eat it.
Yes. Food. And then also, I'm pretty sure the weekend it's Memorial Day, so I have Monday off too.
Nice, sweet.
So that'll give us a couple extra days. Like, it won't have to be like, oh my gosh, Sunday, I have to go home. I'll just be like, I have off.
Well, I set the whole weekend. I figured Friday's definitely going to be like a prep day and a setup day. I'm hoping that Mike can get the tables up this week so that I have time to play. Because believe it or not, it's only 13 days away right now.
Oh, yeah, I know. And then, like, because this weekend I got a bunch of stuff, like the one coming up, and then it's you, and then I'm going away for the weekend. And then I'm done school.
So Friday will be all prep. And then I'd like to shoot on Saturday. We're probably going to do it later in the day.
Yeah.
Like probably 6, 7 o'clock. So that'll give us most of the day too.
Yeah.
And the big thing will be the food because she'll be bringing all that down. So hopefully the weather will cooperate with us too because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
There's so many logistics coming in. So I have 13 days. I have to finish. Remy's dress is done. I have to finish this one, which is almost done. I have to stitch the lace undercoating here. Because it just wasn't working with just the pedicure. So once this gets stitched, then Remy found the really pretty ribbon, and she found this incredible lace. But I wanted to cry when she told me. She's like, she just brought it up and didn't look at it, and she's like, "Yeah, I want this," and it's beautiful because it has this like gold thread in it. And she's like, "I only got 1 yard because it was $39 a yard."
Ooh.
Most of the fabrics we've been getting, like the greens and the purples for the dress, are like between 3, maybe 6. I think the most expensive I've bought has been like $9 a yard. And it's gorgeous, but for $40 a yard, no.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to bring it over. We're doing family dinner tonight, so I think I'm going to bring it over to Mike's mom's and see if she can make it.
Nice.
That would be way more.
Sam, shut up. I think he's outside because they're up in the pool, so you probably see someone.
You guys have the pool open?
Yeah, but it looks like a swamp. It's really black.
That's not good.
Oh my gosh, it's so gross. Yeah, but that's what he's doing. Well, he went to open it today and went to start the filter. Filter wasn't working, so he has like the whole filter torn apart trying to get it fixed. And then he said once he gets it fixed, because he said it's easy, because then you just let it run for a couple days, and like backwash it a couple times, and it'll be good. He's just gonna. He does it so often now. He knows what to do. Because when we first switched to our salt pool, he'd open the pool and they'd be like, "Oh, you need salt," so he put salt in, and then he'd finally get clear, and they'd be like, "There's no salt in here." And he's like, "I just put salt in." We figured out what it is. It's when he first does it and he super shots it. He ends up having to backwash it, so drain half the water and put it back in. He goes, so all the salt just dissolved. So he said, "I'm not putting the salt in until it's clear."
Mm.
So yeah, but yeah, that's fun. He's doing that. Him and Madison have been doing all day. I got home because I was doing a car wash this morning. I went outside. I was outside maybe a half an hour helping them, and it starts downpouring, so I came in here. I don't think it's raining anymore, but I'm just pretending I don't know it's not raining. Great plan.
Hey, Gabe.
Hi!
How was the yard sale?
It was good.
Did they get rid of a lot of stuff?
Yeah, kinda.
Hi, Chrissy.
Mom, Jess says hi.
Who?
Jess.
Hi, Jess. Oh, how are you?
Oh, she's like, what are you doing?
I'm trying not to drop all the pins I have in my mouth.
I know. But, because how it's sitting, she couldn't see it because it's just my phone.
Right.
I was like, say hi, Jess. She's like, hi. I'm like, oh. Escaping her. La 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 la. Yeah, let's see. I think I have to do it on the other side. I added more to my building they sent you a picture of.
Nice. You're a little ridiculous with the,
Oh, it's more ridiculous now. There's 2 side rooms coming off of it.
Yeah.
Well, there's one right now. I gotta build the second one. I just finished the first one. I know I'm ridiculous, but it's fun.
Story of my life, girlfriend.
Yeah. This one was fun. It's so detailed. I could have probably built the walls just flat in 20 minutes, but it took me 4 hours.
Nice.
Because of all the little details.
Stephen Mackenzie's on the computer if you want to say hi. Aww. So, Stephen!
Yeah?
Come here!
Hi, bud! Hi! You're so cute. Oh, are you sick?
Yeah. Hey, go grab me the scissors. Right there, bud.
Ugh, that's no fun.
Who's coughing like that? Oh,
Go live.
leg is.
Grab me the scissors. Right there. Turn around. Turn around. Okay, Steven. Steven!
What?
Turn around and grab me the pink scissors right there. No, the pink ones, not the red ones.
Okay.
Turn around. Those ones. Are you still waving at her?
Are you just gonna wave at me?
He did not stop waving the entire time. That was actually pretty impressive.
I know, that was so cute. Okay, back to my knee. Ugh. That cough sounds lovely.
Yeah, he's nursing a pretty good cough. Can't find my upholstery needles. Remy, man, she kills me. So she's over, and you know that curved needle I had that I was doing all the...
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you might have been here for this. Were you here when she was like, oh, that's what they use to stitch flesh when they do, the corsets and piercings and stuff. I was like, or it's an upholstery needle.
Oh, yeah, she's like, oh, yeah, I can use it to sew blisters. I was like, what?
Yeah. Sometimes concerning where your mind goes first, Ron.
Okay.
So I think I can have this done this weekend, and then I don't have to worry anymore. I might do Katie's hair too. I've been going back and forth because it's starting to get long. So I might put like the extensions in her hair and just do like make it like super girly. Like just do like a big ribbon, but like I'm thinking with her hair down in the back.
Nice.
And just doing ribbons all the way down.
Yeah. Got you. Nice. Jess like, I'm trying to make her look little.
I am trying to make her look little. It's really hard. I do think that Remy's idea to shorten the dress helped. So the dress is definitely a very little girl dress. There are like these huge like farm tractors rolling down my street right now, and I don't live by any farms. Like huge ones, like the ones you see in like the cornfields.
Oh my gosh. That's weird.
I really love this lace edging.
Yeah.
But it's so fine that I think I'm going to have a hard time stitching it. Hey, come here. Karma, come. Karma. You jump up on that Willock and I'm going to kill you. I will kill your face. This face right here, it will die. Stop it. You're knocking all the stuff off the window. Knock it off. No. No. Sit down, psycho. Leg, right there. No. Stay. Crazy.
There she is.
Somebody is walking on the road. That's all. They're walking.
Oh man.
That's all it is. She thinks that she's like, she's getting worse too as she gets older. Like she's getting more and more upset about it. She's psychotic about it. Somebody breach the perimeter! Attack! Like,
yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know how to break her of it either. I've never had a dog like this. She's just freaking nuts.
Yeah.
She's cute most of the time.
Yeah.
You should come hang out this weekend. Stitch Place with me.
I should what?
You should come hang out with me this weekend and stitch lace with me.
I kind of can't do that, you know. I got things to do.
What, like Minecraft?
And go to church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And next weekend I'm like swamped. So, not gonna happen. Because, let's see, I think I'm doing something in the morning Saturday, and I know we have a graduation party Saturday afternoon. And then Sunday's Fiona's baptism. So we gotta go to that because my mom's her godmother.
Aww.
Well, we have to go anyway, but we especially have to go. Well, that's okay. They had to switch churches because the first church, like where she used to go, said my mom couldn't be her godmother because she's not Catholic anymore.
That's ridiculous.
So it's happening somewhere else now. And like, I think David like couldn't be like the godfather because he was like divorced or something.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Catholic religion being judgy? Never.
What?
I'm allowed to say that. I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Stitch fabric. I don't want to make any dresses for the next month after this shoot.
Okay. Well,
That is my goal.
that's probably not going to happen since the month after the shoot summer starts, which means I'm going to be up, so things are going to get made.
I'm going to make you make them then. That's okay. I'm fine with making you do it.
You're just not doing it yourself.
I'm just not doing it. See, now you're catching on.
Yeah, I got you.
I'll be over it, that's why I think the next one I want to do when I'm done this is to do the one with the fruit. I'm so close to done that one as a prop.
Yeah. And that'll be nice too, because then we can get it out of the middle of your studio.
Yeah, but I need it for other shoots. I think I was talking to Mike about it. I think we're going to get bungee cords and actually like put it up on the ceiling on the rafters of the studio and then get rope and like kind of build it a net and bungee cord it up there.
Nice.
That way it's not on the floor because it does take up way too much floor space. And I think if I try standing it up like we did the nest outside, that it's fragile enough that it'll start to lose shape. So by the time I go to use it again, I'll have like a banana instead of a like a round fruit.
Nice.
Because it'll just start to sink, you know?
Definitely. Especially because it's just like paper mache. Like there is chicken wire, but the last couple layers are paper mache and they'll just fold in.
Yeah. Figure it out. But they're naked too for that photo shoot, so I definitely want to do it coming up when it's nice and warm. I try to be at least a little accommodating to the models.
Sometimes.
I do.
Yeah.
I think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just also think that if everything doesn't go according to plan, we just tough it out and do it.
Yeah. Ugh. So many details. I feel like you like all these stupid details, and then by the end you're just like, I'm done. I won't do this anymore. Mine's a video game and yours is real life, but equivalent.
Well, actually going pretty quick. I've been avoiding it like the plague.
No, that's not really good. There we go. Slabs.
Dude, I got these pants the other day, and they are so comfy.
Nice. Pretty
Hey,
much.
John, how are you?
Yeah.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just getting my mic hooked up and everything.
This is totally, it's not even Arcanum related. I just threw it on in case anybody wanted to hop in since I was available.
Well, why not? Looks like you're sewing like my mom used to do.
I am. We're working on a shoot for my art project for the Reliquarian, so we're repurposing some of the dresses in the studio for this shot. So
cool.
You can only sit and talk to a mannequin for so long before you start to lose your sanity. Even the dog starts to.
And if the mannequin answers, you're in big trouble, you know.
Yeah.
I had when I had my studio, I had about a 5,000 square foot studio for quite a while, about 17 years. And we shot people occasionally for fun. And, I did a lot of corporate stuff, but that was usually on location, CEOs and stuff like that. But once in a while, we'd fill the studio up with makeup and hair and people and have a blast, It was just something different to do.
Yeah, I love putting the whole team of creatives together, and that's the whole Reliquarian project. What are we up to, Mac? We have like 26 different artists on it now.
A million.
Yeah, everything.
Some of them are like
Go ahead.
quite active yet, so I'm like, I don't actually know who they are.
Oh, it's everything from resin casters and pottery makers to gown designers, makeup artists to we've this chainmail artist that's doing like some of the more like Amazon warrior kind of pieces, but he actually does these incredible like colored chainmail pieces that are remakes of popular artists. So they'll be like Van Gogh's sunflowers and stuff, all done in chainmail links. It's really neat.
Ooh.
So most people like, you know, they collect baseball cards or coins or something. I collect artists with unique talents. What kind of photography do you like to do, John?
Well, I've been doing, boy, 40 years ago I was doing landscape when I bought my first view camera and stuff, and that's what I loved. And then I went and did commercial photography to make a living.
Okay.
For a number of years, I shot weddings every weekend too. Well, I found out really quick my kids, made a lot of noise when I didn't feed them and stuff. So.
Yeah, pets want to be like fed every day. They need like love and attention. It's ridiculous.
Right, and I can't kind of give up my personal work, and shot 4x5 for years and years and years and years, and 17 years in the studio. That ended with a traffic accident with injury that I thought I wasn't going to be able to really work that way anymore, and a back injury. And so I went to work for a customer, and he was a small company. He was hoping to do about $1.5 million that year. We ended up with 3, and he's over a $300 million customer now. So
Wow.
Yeah, I changed his look, and yeah, of course, I was the first in anything graphics or photography, and kind of started his graphics department, and run that for a number of years, as well as did all his photography. But it was machine gun photography, nothing creative to speak of, and I really needed to get back to the creative. And so once I retired, I got in the Arcanum right away. So it's been working out wonderful. I'm opening back up that creative door and having a good time.
That's awesome. So now you're in the Arcanum. Remind me, whose cohort do you come from?
I come from Rodney's, which is probably good for me because I like the landscape work and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I've done just about everything over the years. So I had a friend that managed girls, kept them out of the model mills, I kind of call them, where they get the girls in and they really just take their money.
Yeah.
And her herself was the wet look girl for Max Factor for a while.
Oh,
And,
okay.
So I used to do her portfolio work for her, and I used to shoot a lot of stuff. Where she had a girl with promise or something, we'd bring her down and shoot her, get her used to the camera and all of that. So did a little bit of that. My studio, when I opened it, we did illustrative photography, and sometimes 8, 9 exposures on an 8x10 piece of film, and a lot of in-camera masking, which is very close to Photoshop masking nowadays, but just black paper on a piece of glass out in front of the camera, and you're cutting your masks and things like that. So.
Karma, come here. Here. All right,
the dog is a bitch.
Hey, Steven. AJ and Anthony are here. Okay, you want to go play? AJ! call. Relax. Get your shoes on and get out of here, knucklehead.
Hey!
Hey, buddy.
Is Carmen allowed to come? Yeah.
Oh, the joy of children.
Oh, yes.
We're gonna-
Grandchildren are the best, but.
I'm coming.
Super fun.
Oh, you want to play Dragon? I'm
Go.
trusting.
Stephen, go turn off the TV before we go, okay?
Hold on, guys. Did you just get on your baseball? Yes, and I lost.
Super fun.
You lost? Yes, I was against the Huskies. I was against.
Stephen, go turn off the TV and go.
You again.
I think it's about time he goes to college.
You can send him here. I'll take him.
Have fun. Hey, bud.
Yeah?
You have to leave at 5, okay?
5.
Okay. Go ahead. So as you can see, my life is very serene,
Yes.
organized, and
Jess, I'll help you with that one.
you'd be proud, Mac. My house is actually almost sort of clean right now.
Almost, sorta.
Yeah, I use the term almost and sort of loosely as well.
I know.
At 5 o'clock in 2 hours, we have to go because we're going to dinner.
Oh, excuse me.
Are you taking her with you, or is she staying?
Actually, she's saying, Mama. And
Yeah. All of you as my witness, I will teach that boy how to not slam the door.
Yeah. You gotta love them.
Have back teach it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think he's as bad as me.
Yeah,
I'm just loud, okay?
it's like a kid thing. Like, I think you guys are just in such a hurry all the time. Like, you're just excited about life. So,
Yeah. Sure.
so John, how are you liking the Path of the Protege? You're my newest entry.
Well, I've been reading a lot, going through reading. Haven't commented very much on things, but need to do that. And I noticed you had a post a few days to post some images.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. That's not a problem. And I don't know if I should be doing it. I noticed it's gone, or it's too far down for me to find, or something now.
No, it's fine. We like the sharing. I think I'm gonna actually make a community in there just for the proteges to share their work and let each other know what they're up to and what they're doing and be able to get feedback. You know, it's awesome that you guys are looking to come in and start teaching and become masters, but, you know, we're artists first.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, we should be at least. That's for sure. I've been working on my level 17 with Rodney, so that might be something good to post too. It's a PDF file in a book form, and all on sand dunes. So.
Oh, nice.
I kind of was looking in there, and I had 1,600 photos of sand dunes. And
that's a lot of sand.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are. A lot of times I'll do brackets and for possible HDRs, or I hardly ever do an HDR, but that's. I just don't like to look that much, but usually, you know, I have something
you don't like
for a mask.
Image.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it looks like you're having a lot of fun there. I remember the days when we did the illustrative stuff. Sometimes take 2 or 3 days just to build a set for stuff, and it was fun.
This one's probably the biggest shoot that I've done so far in terms of difficulty. I mean, part of the idea of the project is to be able to do tutorials behind the scenes for the other artists that are following, so they can see. So when the blog post goes up, they'll be able to see how the dress started and kept going. Because I think we spent maybe $50 in fabric on the first dress for the redo. This one's only cost us, I think, like 27 so far total.
Oh.
Which is nice. And because I have the studio and I do a lot of glamour and boudoir, I have a lot of really generous people that donate a lot of stuff from like shoes and purses to gowns to the studio. But like all things, whether they're donating them to me or Goodwill, it's usually because they've outgrown them or they're outdated. So some of the pieces are really, really like old school, and some of them are just flat out hideous.
Yeah. I used to.
Yeah, it's a good time. So this one got donated, and it was awful. Like, it was so dated, and it's got the big puffy sleeves that come all the way down, and all of the little
I like it.
sleeves and stuff. So it was like, and it had the train, and it's just this hideous kind of shimmery fabric. So none of my boudoir clients have come in and been like, oh, I want to be photographed in that, because they kind of look like a pillowcase that got hosed down in Pepto-Bismol when they put it on.
Oh yeah. But it can be valuable for something, for sure.
Yeah.
I used to hit the yard sales with my daughters, and you'd be amazed what we found. Big pieces of styrofoam that you just hit with spray paint, and like a little gold spray paint or something, and they just dissolve and turn into rocks. And we could make a cave in the studio and stuff. And
that's awesome.
One of the things I allowed my daughters to do was bring their friends to the studio and have just a fun photo shoot. I mean, I remember them dressing up like Punky Brewster when that was really popular and stuff, and they just, and they had pictures to throw their friends. And give me a chance to run the 2.25 camera or the 35 millimeter, because almost all my work, probably 99% of my work, was 4x5 or 8x10. So, but I enjoyed the small camera. But I've been thinking about videos. I'm thinking maybe doing a video on a 4x5 camera and what the advantages and disadvantages are of the 4x5.
That would be a very neat tutorial video too, for the Path of the Protege.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
It's a lost art anymore. Most people nowadays that are getting into it have never worked on a film camera. I'm one of them. I remember being little and going and buying like the disposable film ones from CVS that had like the 27 exposure. And I remember my mom's film camera. That's something I would love to. That's on my list of bucket things to do. I would really love to have a darkroom and learn how to develop film. I think it's such a lost art.
Oh, that's you could do. Well, give you an idea. When I did a fine art black and white shot, with a view camera, in first place, there's cost involved. There's film, and there's processing. And of course, I did my own processing, but you still had to buy paper to print it on and to proof it on. And so, you had an hour just developing film right there. And, we got it so easy in Lightroom today. There it is, and in 15 seconds, it's processed. Well, I still can't do it that fast, but, in a few minutes, we've got a basic process on it, at least a starting point. In the darkroom, you have to go in and make a print. And usually you proof it, you kind of look at your proof and get an idea of where you're going to go, and then you start working on a print, and you make test strips and, process them, and you easily had a minimum of 2 to 3 hours for one print.
Wow.
And then if it was something good, you might put in 2 days working on it, getting the burning and the dodging just right. And, you had to keep records and everything else, and you run it through. Oh, I didn't dodge that one spot. Oh, you know, and that type of stuff. So it was a lot. And then in the commercial side of it, you know, you shoot an 8x10 piece of Ektachrome, and then you punch holes in it with for pin register, and you start cutting mass to pin register, you know, rubies to make inner eggs and all types of things. The time involved is hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. When, you know, Photoshop, you can pull out the pen tool and cut an edge like crazy and soften it up and you're done. I mean, it's just sometimes you just use a magic wand or the you know, your selection tool there. But it's just I mean, it's so much easier nowadays, time-wise too.
Yeah, that would be really neat. To my knowledge, nobody in the Arcanum yet is running a cohort where the focus is on film cameras, you know, and actually shooting and developing with film. I think that'd be a really neat cohort.
It's been a long time. I'd have to build a darkroom again.
Yeah.
That's been a long time. I thought of it when I moved in here. And I've been here about 8 or 9 years, and about putting a shack out in the back and building a darkroom, but I decided against it and bought a digital camera. And so, you know, I've been.
I mean, I love that, you know, our entire world is open to being captured now because everybody has one on their cell phone, which I think is really neat. A lot of the other pros get deterred by that, I think, thinking that everybody has a camera and everybody's a photographer, so how do I promote my value? But I like those elements and seeing those things, and I can always tell the difference, even on just like Instagram feeds and stuff. I can tell who my professional photographer friends are by the way they use the camera.
Yep, that's so very, very true. One of the things that digital bought was the fact that you know, when you shot with a view camera in a studio, you're shooting one day, that product may be going across country to a show or something else, and it's not there tomorrow. So you had to get the shot. So you had to know you had the shot. And it was just a matter of you got good enough that you knew what you were getting when you took the picture.
Yeah.
You could see it. You know, before the film was even developed, you knew it was there. And nowadays, you know, view camera, you spend a lot more time on composition and looking and getting everything right. It's big. You can look at it real big. But on 35, my tendency and everybody else's is to click, 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 click. And that is not, you know, yeah, you get instant feedback, but why even take that picture that has a little distraction on the left-hand side if you can eliminate it first? And that's my goal right now, is to get back to the view camera days in shooting speed and stuff.
I can appreciate that.
Yep, it just it makes sense to me. We've become because everything's instant, we've become sloppy shooters, and there's things that I see now that
I think
wouldn't fly back
I think
then.
it'd be a really neat thing. I would love to put a bunch of photographers that have never shot on a film camera with no viewfinder to check on the back and let them go and see what their work turned out. You know, I'm always interested to see shots out of camera too before they have a chance to take them into Photoshop. Because I don't even necessarily think it's that we're sloppy as much as it is that with the cultural shift of technology in general, way far beyond cameras, but like into computer technology, like we're just so instant gratification now that everything has to be available. So I find myself doing that too. Like I won't break out my professional camera, even for like the behind the scenes shots for this. If you look at my blog, 80% of the photos that are on my blog that are the behind the scenes photos are iPhone photos because I have it on me. and I can instantly throw it right on
Yep.
Instagram, instantly post it to my Twitter and my Facebook because everybody wants it right now.
Hey, I got to make a quick run down the hall. I'll be right back.
All right. John's one of the new people in the path of the protege.
Nice.
I just met him like 2 days ago.
Nice.
There's like 63 people in there. It's getting serious. And I'm like completely disregarding it the last 2 weeks. I have not been in there as much as I should be, or in my cohorts, because I'm just so focused on this shoot coming up, and there's so many different elements.
Uh-huh.
It's stressing me out. I don't have my tables built yet, which is probably a good thing, because if we had them up and out, then they would get rained on and the tables would get warped. And
Yeah.
but I want them up so that I can shoot, because I'm always hand-holding, and I think for this one, because of all the elements that we're going to have to take out in post to get it to look right, that I'm going to have to tripod shoot, which makes me feel like I'm on a leash. I hate doing that. So I want to make sure that I find my angles first, because if I know what the shot is that I want, then as we're setting it up, I can just go and set the camera up too and look in the viewfinder and just see if that's, you know, where I want things on the tables, and
Yeah.
it's going to be fun.
Uh-huh. And then we're gonna eat lots of cake and get fat.
We're totally going to earn all of the cake that we eat. You know, I don't know about that, though, because we're shooting it in the back now, and I have the main table is the one that'll have most of the desserts on it,
Uh-huh.
and it's over the water now. So I haven't, one, they might fall in, and then we'll have very soggy cake.
No, I don't want soggy cake.
And two, I don't know, like, we're shooting outside with lots and lots of sugary sweets and bright colors, so I have a feeling we're going to be attracting a lot of bugs, too. But I am going to just have the whole weekend just catered. I'm going to just call down the street and get a bunch of stuff. That way everybody has... I just want to take...
Pizza.
Yeah, well, I just want to... I think I'm going to get, like, some tomato pies and, like, some lunch meat platters and stuff like that. And, you know, chips and pretzels and cookies and that kind of stuff, and just set up one of the extra tables in the kitchen here,
Nice.
so that, or in the theater in the bar,
Uh-huh.
so that people can just go grab stuff while they're hungry.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza. Wawa.
That's it.
I need pizza, Wawa, or else I won't feel like I'm at your house. Pretty much like tradition at this point.
Well, you'll be here all weekend. I think Jackie's not going to come down until Saturday morning with the food.
Well, I might not get there all Saturday morning if I have school on Friday, because, no. Dang. Maybe I'll skip. I hate school. But my parents got home a letter talking about how much I missed school, and I was like, yeah, I don't care.
I haven't missed that much. They're getting ridiculous about it. They called all of Stephen and Katie's emergency contacts when they were out of school last week.
Oh, well, I think you can miss 12 unexcused days for the year, and I've missed 8 or 9. So
Okay.
it's like you're close to the end, like, no, this year kid doesn't have to come to summer school. Not like they're mad at you.
Yeah.
It's more like, we don't want you to have to send your kid to summer school, so you should know if they're missing all this school. Which
Well, a lot of it, too, is like, well, maybe not with yours because yours is a private school, but with public school, if you miss a certain number of days, they fine the parents.
Oh, no, ours doesn't. But my dad, every time I skip school, he makes a big deal about it. He's like, you know you're wasting like $30. I was like, I don't care.
Broken like a kid that hasn't had to pay for anything yet.
Exactly.
It's in-field training. That's what we'll call it. If you end up coming down and missing school, you know, it's a live internship. It'll look good on your college resumes.
Oh, it's not that my parents don't care. Like, my dad does that, but like jokingly. My mom doesn't care, like, if I miss school to come hang out with you.
Well, you're a straight A student too, so
Yeah. And
it's not like anything you've done with me or anywhere else has ever impacted
no.
your scores. I'm so sick of sewing. You're done yet? I'm not even like halfway around this either.
Okay, there we go. I was like, I'm missing an element. No, my temperature right now. It's super dark. It's super dark.
John, where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm in the Mojave Desert. I live in a 60s Los Angeles, but east and south out in the Mojave Desert. I got Joshua trees and cholla cactus. So,
Nice.
how about you? Where are you at?
I'm out of Pennsylvania, towards Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
We're far enough removed that we're not part of the city. We're in like the suburbs kind of thing. So we bought a house in one of the best school districts in the state, which is actually not that we're biased at all because my husband and I both graduated from the school. We're middle school sweethearts. I told him I was going to marry him when I was 11.
Uh-huh.
But it took me like 7 years and boobs before he would date me. And it took me another 5 years after that to convince him to marry me. But eventually I was right.
Well, there you go. You don't have to rush into things like that anyway.
Yeah.
I recommended that to my daughters. One took my advice, one didn't, so that's the way things are.
It's just back and forth, like, because we had, I had my daughter right before I turned 21, or right after I turned 21, and so I didn't do like the college and the bar scene, and I didn't have like all of that awesome early 20s thing where you have all of the freedom but not really all the responsibilities yet.
Right.
And a lot of my friends my age are just now, like in the last year or two, getting married, having kids, much closer to their 30s than their early 20s. But both of our kids will be graduated high school before we turn 40. And my husband joined the military at 18 right out of high school, so he'll have 20 years in and have a full pension by the time he turns 42. So we'll get to go and do all the traveling and the backpacking through Europe and stuff, but we'll have the money to actually stay at hotels rather than, little dive.
Wow.
It's a trade-off, I think we're still young enough. We don't have quite as much energy as we did, but, we'll be able to do in our 40s what most of our friends did in their 20s while they're doing the kid thing. And we're more established.
I just dislike hotels and motels in general. They're just four walls and a bed as far as I'm concerned. And but I bought myself a fifth wheel trailer a while ago.
Oh, nice.
And last week I bought a teardrop trailer, a little tiny one.
Okay.
There's a bed in the galley, and that's about it. The galley's outside, the back opens up, and so you have some shelter when it's raining.
Right. That's what we were looking at.
So
I love the idea.
Great
I love the idea of having like a real RV that people can be in while we're driving, so that we don't have to be in the car. But it's amazing how much more money you spend for them as opposed to the fifth wheels.
Yeah, and then you have to pull a car behind you anyway, or something to get around. You don't want to pull out and move around every day in something big. And
yeah.
So, I don't know. I go to Death Valley, I drop the trailer off and hook it up, and I take off. And, come back at night, and it's nice indoor, good kitchen, everything, so it makes it much easier. But and then go back out again in the middle of the night sometimes, depending on what's there.
Do you do a lot of traveling?
Um, I'm getting ready here in a month to head up the coast, probably up to, well, for sure up to Washington and visit my brother. He's up there for 6 months, and he's trying to sell his house right now up there. And then him and his wife, they have a place down in Palm Springs or Palm Desert, right next to Palm Springs, and so
Okay.
they're down here for 6 months. You know, you mentioned something about your mom's camera. I have my mom's last camera, which I bought for her, and
Mhm.
I have the camera, the little Ansco camera with the Waterhouse stop in it, and a bulb, which was very, very interesting to me. When I was a kid, my mom let me use, and I have that camera.
Nice.
And I have my dad's camera that I dreamed that I'd get hands on it someday when I was a kid. And those were the things I kept from my parents when they passed away.
Okay.
And, you know, just I'm a ham radio operator also. So I got about 200 countries to my credit.
Wow.
On the ham radio. And yeah, confirmed. So that's kind of, I just haven't done it since I got back into the photography because photography means so much to me. You know, what can I say? It's it's part of my blood, I guess. I don't know. It's just there.
How long have you been doing photography?
40 years.
Wow.
And I dabbled before that, but I mean, 40 years of when I started seriously doing photography, it's been about 40 years, and 37 of it has been my living. So I just retired in August.
Okay.
And, so hasn't even been a year yet.
How's being retired?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I showed my project to the gallery yesterday in town here. It's just a little gallery, and the first thing she said, "When can I have the images?" She says, "I
Nice.
could sell this as corporate stuff," and she says, "The most I have is a collection of 4 images, and this is great. There's like 20 images or something in the group." So she's excited. So that'll go up online. I don't make anything till she sells something, but I make a few dollars every month from sales on prints that she has and stuff. But,
Is that a physical gallery or is that an online?
It's physical, but and most of the sales are Amazon.
Okay.
And she used to do shows once in a while, get something from there. And then I have one guy that collects my black and white stuff. But he buys a print at a time. That's what he can afford. But he collects it. So it's nice to have a collector.
Yeah, I think that's very validating as an artist to have someone that just wants to, see what you create.
Yeah, he's a teacher. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a teacher and photography teacher. So
wow.
That even makes it better. That makes it better.
Yeah, that's a higher compliment.
Yes. But I've got a few people that every once in a while will call me and want to go out to shoot and learn, and so I help them and stuff like that. So it's fun to watch them learn and grow.
What do you like about the Arcanum?
Oh, I've been in some adult school classes. Just had a friend that taught there. I've got a couple of friends and stuff like that. But the Arcanum method of allowing the students to develop their creativity without snubbing it is tremendous. It's it goes back to the kid in kindergarten that paints it's given something to color, and and it's a rose, so he pulls out the crayons and paints a green rose and maybe a purple stem and orange sky or something, and with I don't know, with purple clouds in it or something, and the teacher at it and says that's wrong, and it's not. It's because it follows the definition of creativity, which is to bring something truly unique into being. And it starts in school, and especially in this country, and you want everybody to kind of conform and and follow the line and all of that. So
yeah,
it just makes me shake my head. Studio. I think if I did that, I would have starved. Of course, I was shooting for a customer, but I had to do what the customer wanted. I had to be creative in doing that. And unfortunately, you didn't get to do a Benjamin Von Wong type shoot or anything like that, which is pure on the, the edge. I hope that's what you're doing, something like that.
That's exactly.
Something, totally on the edge and way out there,
Yeah, that was exactly the idea, and I'm really lucky because I love doing boudoir and like the intimate kind of portraiture. I really do. People are my thing. I like photographing people because I think it just brings a different element.
Mm-hmm.
But same thing, even though I was being creative and even though I was lucky enough that I was getting paid to shoot what I really love, because I really do. I did everything when I first started. I was doing weddings and seniors and children and families and whatever people wanted to pay me to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew very quickly that I didn't want to do all of that, and I let it all go. And the weddings were the toughest because I have a decent head for business, so I was making somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000 per wedding. So for me to go to my family and go, I don't want to do this anymore. Especially being that it was photography, which is what I love. And I like doing weddings. I'm a hopeless romantic at heart, but I wanted to teach, and I was coming into a lot of scheduling conflicts, and I just wasn't as excited about them as when I started. That was a huge thing, and everybody told me that I was nuts if I gave them up, from friends and family to other business partners to other artists that were like, no, you have any idea how hard it is to make a living doing photography, and you're doing so well and you're going to back it away? But I haven't regretted it at all. I mean, I do really well. My average studio session is somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 too, so it's not like I'm not making good money at the moment.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Do you know who Philip Charis is?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, Philip Charis was a portrait photographer for years in South Pasadena, and then he moved down Laguna Niguel or someplace like that. But he's retired or passed away by now, I'm sure. But back in the 90s, when the portrait photographers were charging $40 to get people into a portrait session, and that was the good guys, Well, he sold nothing but life-size portraiture, and everything he shot was on a 5x7 camera, and he had a whole ring of umbrellas around the studio. He had almost a loft to come around, and ring of umbrellas, and then he just had one other light that he'd place. According to the person, and he'd shoot the 5x7, and then it would come back, and it would be maybe shot 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever shot for the session, and they come back and they pick one,
Did you eat anything?
and they proceed to retouch the negative, and then they went and made a life-size print, canvas always, and then they'd retouch the canvas.
Okay.
I had a friend that was his retoucher and did all that, and airbrush and pastels and stuff. But he would get between $10,000 and $20,000 per session.
Yeah,
for
that's
one
awesome.
image, one canvas, and that was the, you know.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that there's nothing that you can't make money at with enough creativity and enough business savvy. It's a common misconception, and most of the problem lies in people looking outside now, because almost every single person that I've mentored or even just had a conversation with about where they are and where they want to be, they start out the conversation with, those rates aren't in my area. It's all the newbies coming in and charging next to nothing. Digital has ruined us. And so everything's outside of them. And the problem with that line of thinking is that you can't change anything about any of that. Like, people aren't going to go, oh, we're sorry we offended you. We'll go back to film now for you. Or, you know, we just won't take our own pictures anymore. Everyone will pay. So, and it's a misconception, because everyone, I mean, my apprentices, now that I've been doing it for a year, I've had, I think, 19 different countries and 50 different people. So it's different to say that, oh, it's because of this reason or that reason. I think your reason is for where they are everywhere.
Well, you know,
how's it going, Jess?
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, John.
Do you have the
How
TV
you
on,
doing?
or is that somebody else talking behind you?
Oh, it's probably somebody else talking behind me. I'm sitting at the car dealership getting my car taken care of today.
Oh, fun.
So I should probably mute myself unless I'm going to talk.
That's all right. How are you? How are things going?
I'm good. How are you, Lisa? You staying out of trouble?
I'm trying.
Sound like me, yeah.
Jessica, that is, I have heard that so often. I got told I was nuts when I raised the prices $200 on my day rate. I was at 800, and the times went down, and all the work went down, and so I really simple said, I need more money, so I'm charging $200 more per session. And all the other photographers around the area just kept lowering their prices, looking for more work. People don't buy photography on price. They buy photography on what they're going to get. You know, especially in the commercial field. I mean,
yes and no. Yes
if
and
they
no.
want something great, they go to a great, wonderful photographer and they get a cut price. It's just simple as that.
There's both. I think every industry, you have the people that value whatever that is, whatever the product or the service is, and they're willing to pay for it in order to have it. And then there's others that will buy for price. It's true with everything. And, you know, I hear photographers all the time, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, because he's like, I just wish people would understand the importance of having a professional. And I went, you just box dyed your hair. Do you think that there was not a hairstylist in Target with you when you were picking that up that was just cringing, going, God, she doesn't even understand the importance of having a, that is her hair. She's putting chemicals in it near her skull and where it houses her brain. And, you know, like, it's the same thing. Like, people, they either value it or they don't. Yeah, and so they don't, like, there's a lot of talk about educating your client, which I think is nonsense. I don't think that you have to educate your client if you have the right client, because they're coming to you for the right reasons. But you can't educate a client about what your costs are or the cost of doing business is, because they don't care. I've never walked into any place of business that I spend money on and been like, I wonder what their studio costs. I wonder how much it costs them to buy the chairs at this salon and the hair dryers and all their stuff. I wonder what the electric bill is for my grocery store, my favorite restaurant, and how much their staff costs. Like, so I hear photographers,
Yeah.
now I read about them, because I think I'm up to like 12,000, 15,000 between my fan page and my personal page on Facebook. So most of them are photographers, and I'll be like, you don't understand the cost of doing business, and I have cameras and I have this, because there is a misconception. We don't think about it anymore, because what do? We take a picture with our phone and we upload it to Facebook, and it doesn't cost us a dime. Maybe if you really want to get technical about it, the data transfer on the phone or whatever. But in an instant gratification thing, it's not like that. You know, when I was little and we would take the film, we had to pay for every roll of film we got developed. So now it's like, you know, I look at a roll of 24 from my grandmother, and it had like the birth of her son and the first steps of her older son and her daughter's first communion and her other daughter's graduation all on one roll of film. You know, because it was expensive and you paid for it. You know, now it's gotten progressively bigger and less expensive. So now it's like, you know, it's not just the milestones anymore, and it's not even the everyday. It's like, oh, here's a picture of my coffee cup from Starbucks. You know.
Yeah, there's my lunch.
Yeah, look what I'm eating right now.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it. I do it all the time. Because I'm an Italian, I'm like, look what I'm cooking.
Yeah.
I'm just cracking up, Jessica, because you said that about, you know, the box hair color. Like, yeah, I mean, it's true, because what did I do yesterday? I went and spent $75 getting my hair cut, and then I went to Target and bought box color to color it, you know. So it is all about what you value, you know.
Right, and there's the bottom line is that you can't compete on price, because nowadays, especially with things that are, they're hobbies, you know. Photography is an art. People do it because they enjoy it, because it relaxes them, because it makes them feel creative. And some of us get it in our heads that we can make money at it too, but really, like, it's a luxury item. It is non-essential to survival for anyone. You know, you will not die if you don't have photos. So you can't compete on price, and lowering your price doesn't convey the value, because there's people that are willing to do it for free. Most of us started out that way. We started taking pictures and we liked it so much that we were like, it'd be really cool if we could do this with all of our time. You know?
Yeah.
So it's all about conveying.
Here's an interesting fact that you might find, and it's something that I observed over the years, especially when I was shooting, you know, had my own studio and stuff. But there seems to be two levels of photography, of professional photography. There seems to be the low-cost volume shooter, where, example, does 100 shoots and makes $1 a shoot. And there seems to be the high-end photographer that shoots one shoot and makes $100. In between, there seems to be nobody that survives. You need to go to one end or the other, but I have not found anything in between, and I've seen that time and time and time again. Either you step up to the plate and charge good money, or you do a volume. But there doesn't seem to be something that's kind of half volume, half good money. You know, it doesn't work.
Well, we have to.
It's how you market yourself. You can't market at both ends at the same time.
Well, we have to just, and there's medium, just like anything else. You can go to a hair cuttery and get your hair cut for $15, or you can go to a decent salon. I have one down the street that calls $50 to $100, and then there's another one 2 miles further down the road that it's $200 every time I go get it done. So, and I know photographers that do all three, they kind of develop in between. A lot of the problem that I see with people as far as their business goes is that they're not actually paying attention. They have these terms in their head like high-end, right? So if I told you that I'm a high-end photographer because I'm making $2,000 a session, everybody would go, okay, great, because there's photographers that are time for print. That's pretty decent. You know, are there higher end photographers charging $10,000 a session? Sure, let's go with that. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that I'm getting paid $2,000 a session and I'm returning 100 prints. How much do each of my prints cost? Each of my photos. What am I getting paid per photo at that point?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so you can look at that and go, okay, well, she's getting $2,000. She's returning 100 prints, 100 images. Digital print doesn't matter. So eventually, what I just did was I valued my artwork at $20 a piece. Is that right? Did I do the math right on that? I don't do the math. I have an accountant.
No.
So if I have another photographer that opens up next door and is charging $100 a session, but is only returning 5 prints, he's making the exact same amount of money I am per value. So am I still high-end compared to him now? Depends, you know? And I had this conversation with somebody else where I was talking to her because she was returning 250 prints at like $85. And so her cost, what she was valuing her work at, was coming out to like something like between 36 cents and 58 cents, which you can't buy a candy bar at a vending machine for, which was why she was having the problem she was having in conveying value was that her price was so low that she was telling them there's essentially no value. There's no value. You can't make a collect call to someone now for that amount of money. Like, you cannot buy a pack of gum for less than what you're charging. So now you've told everybody there's no value to it whatsoever. And people understand that subconsciously. It's like, I was teasing, I don't know if you're familiar with Jeremy Coart, but he came up with this great app called OK Do This. He's an incredible photographer. He's out of Tennessee. He does a lot of celebrity work and a lot of like musician albums and magazine covers and stuff like that. And he's worked with everyone from, you know, like Carrie Underwood to like major like sitcoms and casts and a lot of A-list musicians and things like that. So he comes up with this app and he's debating on whether he's going to offer it for free or he's going to charge. And when he started it and he said he was going to charge $1.99, he polled to see if people would pay for that. And people were like, no, I'm not going to pay for that. And so I look at different apps and how many times I've gone in and been like, oh, I'm going to download this app. And then I'm like, but not for $4. And then I go to Starbucks and realize that my cup of coffee that I pay for every day is more money than that app that I was going to pay for once, and it was going to provide some kind of service or a thing that I thought was worthwhile. So it's just about understanding the psychology of how people determine value. And I think that's where a lot of the disconnect comes in, is that we start throwing around these terms like high-end, so people think that they're not successful unless they're charging a certain amount. One of the most successful photographers I know, my friend Matthew, he does very high volume, and so he doesn't do high price, but he makes more money a year than almost any other high-end photography studio I know. You know, and he was joking about it because one of his friends sent him a picture of his daughter's ballet recycle photos, you know, like the little sports photography packet. You can get buttons and you can get stickers and, you know, 937 wallets delivered to your family and extended friends and next door neighbor and third cousin twice removed. And it was all for pennies. And so he sent it to him as a high-end wedding photographer and was like, how does anybody make money like this? How are you still in business at these prices? And Matthew sent him a picture of
a lot of money,
stack of checks from 128 baseball teams he just did that all bought those buttons and those things, and then sent him the deposit slip that was for like $130,000.
Yeah.
So you can make money doing whatever you want. I don't shoot and run a high-end studio because I make more money. I do it that way because I mean, you were here with me earlier because I have kids running back and forth through the house, and I have dogs, and I have personal projects, and I run the Arcanum, and I don't want to be in my studio every day. So I don't want to shoot 2 to 5 sessions a day. I don't want to shoot 2 to 5 sessions a week. If I'm charging $2,500 to $3,500 for a shoot, I can shoot 2 sessions a month, and it pays every single bill I have and puts money in the pocket if I want to go out to eat. Like,
There you go.
so, and if I do have an easy month where I have the ability, then I can shoot 5 or 10 sessions and have a really good month and put money away. Like, we do that all the time now. My husband makes enough money to cover all of the bills here by himself. If I wanted to, I could hang up my camera tomorrow and we wouldn't be panicking or struggling financially. So it's really easy for us to go now. What do you want to do this year? You want to put a new porch on the front? How much? $30,000? All right, I'll work this month. You know, and it's really nice to have that kind of freedom, because for me, success is not a dollar sign in your bank account. It's that you get to spend your time the way you want. And you just said, like, you just retired. What do people retire? So they can stop working and do what they want to do with their time. So if I can do that and have somebody pay me to do that, that's a success.
Yeah. I retired. I retired so I can shoot what I wanted to shoot.
Right?
Okay. I mean, I shot the place I was working. It was not unusual for me to do 300 pictures in an 8-hour day. Processed.
Wow.
So basically, I had to nail the lighting and the exposure and everything, and it was almost on it. You know, I used Capture One, which is set up a little bit for commercial type use and stuff. And I had all my curves all pre-programmed and set up, and so when it come out of Capture One, it come out CYMK and balanced and everything.
Nice.
And you want, but you know, there's panic in the studio when the camera takes a dump, and so you have to go to a second camera, and then you have to work out all the lighting and all your automatic processes have to change to match up to the camera.
Yeah.
Because you need it. You need those images today to match yesterday's, the day before, because when they go in a catalog, they gotta all look the same.
Yeah.
So.
The biggest.
And that's not very creative shooting and very fun shooting either.
So why not get paid to do what you want to shoot?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biggest myth that I'm always fighting with my apprentices, is that they can't do exactly what they want to do and shoot exactly what they want and make the kind of money that they want. You can actually do that. It takes creativity and it takes hard work. Like, I think that's part of the trade-off, is that people have this thing that, like, when you find what you're supposed to be doing, everything will just click and it'll be easy and it'll come naturally, and you'll find your passion and that'll bleed into your natural talent and everything will just align for you. It doesn't. I've worked harder at this than I have any other job that I didn't like. You know, it was a piece of cake. Sometimes I joke about it. I'm like, God, I should go back to waiting tables, because I made just as much money on a Saturday night at a good restaurant, and it was piece of cake compared to how much work I do now. But I love it. I love everything I do. I put in 18 to 20-hour days all the time. I sleep maybe 5 to 6 hours, and I do stuff like this all the time. And I multitask. Like, I'll sit and hang out with you guys while I'm working on sets, because it's got to get done, but I don't mind doing it because I love doing it. That's always what I'm after, you know. Monica's in my cohort. Well, actually, she's just about to graduate to level 20, but she was in my cohort. And she'll tell you, like, I'm beating that in their heads all day long, every day. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever kind of artist you want to be, whether you want to just show gallery shows, or you want to shoot portraits, or you want to shoot puppies, or, you know, you want to take pictures of flowers with your iPhone, I absolutely believe that you can monetize any of that. It's just...
You got to shoot what the gallery wants.
Say that again?
You got to shoot what the gallery thinks they can sell.
Also,
you know, they have a certain thing, you know.
There's enough galleries out there that you can find the one that wants to sell what you have to offer. And
Right.
honestly, if I couldn't find a gallery that wanted to sell it, then I would sell it myself. You know,
Mhm.
there's so many different options. There's no doors closed anymore for anyone. Like it used to be that you couldn't write a book and get it published without having an agent that could open the door to the publisher, that could open the door to the
Right.
book houses. You know, then I self-publish.
Yeah, you can publish, self-publish.
Yeah,
Self-publish
same thing
now.
with galleries. Now there's things like 500 pixels. There's Amazon. You can open an account on any store interface and sell them yourself now,
Mhm.
just as easily. And
Right.
the thing is that I think sometimes that's better. Like with my book, the publisher came and found me because I wanted to self-publish because I'm a control freak and I wanted it to look exactly how I wanted to look. And when they saw how many copies that I sold before it was even in print on the Kickstarter, they came and found me and were like, we want to buy the rights to publish it as a paperback in a more affordable version. So if you are working and doing it and getting it in front of the right people, then somebody takes notice and they ask. That's how I got all my sponsors. It's how I got on Trey's radar. I have no idea how I did that initially, because when he dropped me a line and told me he wanted me to teach at the Arcana, and he was like, "This is Trey Ratcliffe." I was like, "Yeah, sure you are. Okay, Trey Ratcliffe's calling me." And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Let's hop on a hangout." And then I like, you know, and it was like late at night, and I'm in my pajamas, and he's on like New Zealand time or wherever he was at that exact moment, and I'm like, and then it said, "Do you want to join this call?" And then you can see him on the other side because he was there, and I'm sitting there going, you know, "Oh, you really are Trey Ratcliffe." Like it was funny, and you never know what your opinion of other people is. It's so funny to me to watch other people assume that they know how other people feel about them, because when I said, "Oh my God, I would love to teach at the Arcanum," the email that I got back from Trey was like, "Oh, I didn't think you'd say yes." I'm like, who turns that down? You know?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Arcanum is probably one of the best ways to learn photography and to develop talent that I've ever seen.
I think in the next couple of years, it's
Fantastic.
really, really going to blow up. I really do. I think it's going to be one of the top educational platforms offered. It's still very much like, you have to think, like, it's only been going for like a year and a half, really, total, since like the first Masters were on. I've been with it for almost a year now, and the amount of growth that it has and what it's becoming is just, it's just unreal. It's really, really neat. I really like that I got in at the beginning of it, because it's been really fun to watch it grow and become. And, you know, especially now that I run the path of the protege, I get lucky and I get to have a lot of conversations with like the headmasters. They don't like being called that. They yell at me all the time about that. They're so humble. They're like, "We don't want to be the headmasters. It's too formal." But every time like I have a conversation with them and get to talk about where they see it going and what's coming in the future in the next like 2 to 5 years, like it makes me giddy. I'm really, really excited to watch this just unfold and then explode. It's going to be awesome.
I'm of the view. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Bruce. How are you?
I'm okay. I turned my camera off because my place is so messy behind me.
Hi, do you see my house?
Oh, no. At least you don't have the sink full of dishes and the laundry on the other side.
Oh, you can see the sink. You just pull stuff out.
I'm not turning my camera at all. My place is disgusting. But,
We don't judge.
but I wanted
When I'm at home, the only part of the house that's clean is the part directly behind me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Bruce, why do you think I always sit against the wall for critiques?
Hey, it makes a lot of sense to me. I'm thinking about turning my desk around so I can do that too.
Yeah.
Especially when I end up starting to do critiques myself, then it's going to be really important. You know, people are going to look at the scene behind me and go, "We can't trust him."
He's awesome. Listen, they say a cluttered desk is a sign of cluttered mind, and I think that that is awesome compared to the alternative of what a clean desk must mean then.
I don't know. Anyway, If the cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, I have an extremely cluttered mind. But I'm actually sitting here marking essays, and I saw that you were in here, so I figured I'd come and join you guys for a few minutes.
I'm glad you did. I haven't gotten to talk to you in a while.
No, it's been a long time. I wanted to say that I agree with you 100% on your evaluation of the Arcanum. I think that it's one of the best models out there for this kind of education. I'm extremely enthusiastic about it, totally sold, and I have been since the moment I encountered it. I looked at it and I thought about it, and the only reason I didn't apply to it the moment I heard about it was it wasn't available yet.
Yeah.
And then because I wasn't sure who they had as masters, and I wanted to make sure that it was a credible bunch, so I waited until I looked to check.
Yeah, then you got stuck with me.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I can live.
Can't all be.
I'll put up with it.
Well, you know, the best thing is the results speak for themselves. I don't know about your cohorts, but I see people coming into Rodney's cohort and where they go and how quickly they go, and their knowledge and their skills is just it's just unbelievable to me. I've never seen a photography class that is that quick to really develop and get people going. And the fact that everybody goes at their own pace, that makes a big difference. You know,
Well, you know,
to
it's
try to
funny.
move a class. Go ahead.
Sorry, you were just breaking up. I thought you were done.
Mhm.
I was going to say, I actually went back the other night and watched all of my old critiques. And if you want an eye opener, go back and watch all of your old critiques once you've hit, level 20, because you see like where you were like right at the very beginning and where you are now, and because you kind of sometimes you don't see it all as you're going through it. But I went back to that very first one, and I was like, oh my god. It was almost like I'm watching myself and I'm watching Andy, but it was almost like I was watching like two different people, because not only have I grown, but he's grown.
Right?
So that was like, it was really awesome. So I just kind of like started with the level 4, and then I started watching all the other ones, and you can kind of see when you do that, like the incremental progress that was made and how everything changed in just that really, really short span of time.
It is. It's really impressive, and it's not the case with everyone. Like it's interesting because I don't think it's a results not typical. Like most things that we see, this how like, oh, it's too good to be true, but 1 out of 500,000 will, accomplish this. They'll be millionaires off this program. They'll lose 85 pounds in 3 weeks. And the thing about results not typical is that those are the people that actually did what they were supposed to do. They had the discipline, and they had, the loyalty to themselves and what they were accomplishing to mind over matter everything else. My husband says that all the time because we're always looking at different things, and he deals a lot with soldiers that can't pass PT and can't make tape and stuff. And they're always like, what about this diet? What about that health program? What about, P90X and triple XI, abs of steel and whatever the new thing is? And what if I only drink cayenne pepper for a week? And he's like, listen, every single diet program on the market, every single exercise program works if you do it. The problem is that it's 90 days and most people quit after day 3. Or they're like, oh, I'm just gonna have this cupcake and then I'll go right back to it. And so it's the same thing. Really, the masters and mentors, they're personal trainers. We're cheering you on. We're telling you how to do it. We're showing you how to do it correctly. But you have to do the push-ups yourself. You can't pay someone to do your push-ups for you. You can pay them to yell at you to do them, to tell you how many to do them, to teach you how to do them correctly. But in the end, you have to do them yourself. Otherwise, I can do push-ups for you all day, but it's not going to make your arms stronger. It's not going to give you the abs. So it's the same thing. And I think the interesting thing about the business model and the way of learning is that it kind of establishes from the beginning that you have to be accountable for yourself. So it deters people that don't want to do that, and it allows people to have the opportunity to have somebody guide them that needs a guide. Because teaching, I think, on its own, there's usually a curriculum and there's an end result. So you're given a map at the beginning of the class that says, this is what we're doing, and at the end of the class you will be here. And it's a pre-designed map. It's GPS. You know, mentoring and mastering, especially with the Arcanum, we're a compass. All we're doing is showing you which way is north so you can plot your own way. So every time that I hear the success stories, I almost feel guilty when I go, oh yeah, well, you know, Lars started at level 4 and told me in his critique that he wanted a gallery show, and you know, his work was okay, but it wasn't anything that we were looking at and going, oh my god, that photographer, like, you know how you see images in your feed and you're like, whoa, I now have to follow everything this person does. Like, he was starting on his journey. And my favorite day as a master so far was when I got the iPhone video after his level 14 critique of his program for his first gallery show. And he did it all in like 6-7 months from where he was, which was really like out of the starting gate to his finish line in 20 levels. So I can't wait to see what he does when we get into Sphere 3 and Sphere 4 and Sphere 5. And, you know, but he worked for it hard to get it. And so when I tell people that off the bat, I'm like, can you accomplish these things? You tell me, because it really is you. It really is your choice and your decision and how bad you want it. And if you're not willing to work for it, you're not going to get it. And you probably don't deserve it. And more importantly, it shows you how much you want it or you don't want it. Because you can say it all day long, but if you're not willing to just eat, sleep, and breathe it, you don't really want it. You know, and I think that that's something that you guys are going to learn really quick, since most of you in here are on the path. The other ones are, Mackenzie hangs out in the Arcanum, but she doesn't actually like do any of the levels.
Mackenzie just
She's my little 14-year-old protege. She started out at 14 and I took her under my wing. Now she's getting ready to turn 17. So she hangs out and she helps me out as like personal assistant. And Remy is actually Remy is actually my first client that ever paid me for a photo shoot. 5 years ago.
Wow.
And the images
pictures, Remy?
sucked. If you go and Google worst boudoir photographer ever, it will bring you to an article of the pictures of that shoot. And she still keeps them on social media just to embarrass me.
That's a great blog post, by the way, Jessica.
You would not believe how much hate mail I got, because they didn't realize I was talking about myself. They actually thought I was just obliterating some poor newbie photographer. I got so much, which made me really happy, actually. I mean, I was laughing at them because I knew they didn't read the whole article then. But it made me happy that they got so offended and so angry that I was beating on this poor little fledgling photographer that they felt the need to stop reading the article and go write me hate mail about what a terrible person I was. You know, because they should. That's exactly the reaction they should have for anybody that does that. You shouldn't shoot the fledglings. That's why most of them won't ask for help. You know? The same photographers complaining that they're not learning and they're not studying and they're not, you know, earning their way up the path are the same ones that when they get an email from a newbie are like, who does this person think they are, messaging me and expecting me to give away all my good secrets and stuff. So Remy actually helped build this dress. She's in the photo shoot that we're designing this for. Her dress is amazing. I'm really excited about it because it has, like, I think it's 136 hand-sewn flowers on the gown. And then she's fearless, so we're going to suspend her about 12 feet in the air on a table filled with antique china and hope she doesn't fall to her death in the middle of the shoot. No pressure.
I'm actually fascinated by this project you're working on because it just seems to be growing and becoming more and more complex and strange and obscure and I'm like, what the heck? And then you decided to stop doing studio shoots and just focus on this all the time. And I'm thinking, what the heck? How's she going to make money at this? You know, so I'm just waiting. I'm just fascinated by the whole process. I think it's great.
Ideally,
inspirational if it works.
This is, yeah, you know, and that's kind of what it is. It's going to be, it is a little bit of an experiment and a put your money where your mouth is kind of thing, because I argue all the time that people can make money doing whatever they want to do. So when I stopped and really thought about that, I think for the last year and a half, that's been what I've been moving towards, because I gave up everything else in like 18 months in and did nothing but weddings and boudoir. And I built myself a really, really lucrative wedding business, and I like doing weddings. I'm a hopeless romantic. I love first kisses and first dances and dads crying as they walk their daughters down the aisle and little flower girls in frilly little tutus. And I love all of that. I'm a hopeless romantic through and through. And my wedding took place in the middle of a blizzard, and only half the people. I know who loves me, because out of the 250 guests, I know the 47 people that really, truly love me and came through 3 feet of snow to be there. And the photographer didn't show, so I have no wedding photos. And I wasn't a photographer then, so I had no friends that were photographers. And the DJ showed, but we kept losing power, so we couldn't play. And we ended up eating by candlelight, and my dad broke into the kitchen of this venue and made stromboli for everyone. Like, it was like full Italian family. And I mean, it was like really high end, like paper plates and like 2-liter bottles of soda. But my entire wedding cost me less than my dress, so it ended up working out because we had a nice deposit for the house then. So I live vicariously through all my clients, and it's been really fun. And then I wanted to step away from that because it was taking so much. It wasn't the shooting. I loved the part of the day. It was the editing and the retouching, especially because I was doing video too, and I was spending 3 weeks on a wedding going back and forth between the photos and the album designs and the videos and stuff like that. And it was burning me out, and I was getting into teaching, and I kept having conflicts where I already had a wedding on the books, and people were calling me and going, oh, would you like to tour with American Photo Magazine for the next 6 months? And I was like, yes. And they're like, are you available all of these dates? And I was like, no. So I gave up weddings, and then I was like, I can do just boudoir and make it successful and just teach. And I did, and it worked. But even with boudoir, and I do really love it, and I think I'll keep shooting a couple of sessions a year for that, it's still a collaborative vision in the sense that, you know, all my clients are sending me things that they love. And every now and then there's boudoir faux pas, just like there are in regular photography. Like, you know, you don't shoot selective color, you don't shoot on the railroad tracks. You know, with boudoir, we're really tired of the hand bras. And, you know, there's like cliche ones. Like, you know, one of the big ones right now is that the girls want to like lay on the floor in a thong and a pair of heels and hook the back of the heel through the back of their panties and pull it up all, and I just think it's cheesy. I don't like doing and I get the appeal, but like some of the girls, their boyfriends or husbands are big sports jersey, you know, big sports fans, and they want to shoot in their jerseys. And I've had girls come with latex costumes that are just like, Halloween is like, how creative can you get with how to make something look slutty? Because that's all girls' costumes are anymore. It's, I'm a slutty pirate, I'm a slutty nurse, I'm a slutty Gumby, I'm a slutty Pokemon. Like, whatever it is, they can turn it and make it into a prostitute costume. And so anytime like a girl would come into the studio and be like, I brought a costume, I would be like, no, it's like morning after Halloween. Like, we can't do it. Like, let's do timeless and classic. And I've been really lucky because most of my clients, I'd say 98% of them, are have really good taste, so I got away with it. And there is ways to like get around it. Like, I can do cute shots in the jerseys and stuff like that with certain people, but like once you start getting into costumes, it just becomes themey, I think. And so I stopped, and I was like, you know, I have all these great ideas that I've had in my head for years that I've always wanted to shoot, and I can't do them because I don't have time, because I'm shooting for all these other people. And what I really, really want to do is I don't want to have a model for a client. I want to create art that somebody wants to hang on the wall. I was always an artist. You know, I want work in museums. I want them in galleries. I want somebody to look at that and go, that just moves me so much that I can't not have it somewhere that I can be moved by it every day. And I think that's a lot harder to do when the person in the photograph isn't someone close to you. You know, because I can do it with kids and I can do it with women and things like that, and people are moved by the images because it's of them or of someone they love, you know, but it's really hard to be able to do that with something that isn't personally attached to them and you don't have that emotional connection as a crutch to be able to sell the work. And so I really had a lot of fun writing Artistic Seductions, even though it was an instructional book, and I was a writer for years before I ever picked up a camera. And so the Reliquarian, really, in the simplest of terms, is me getting back to wanting to be a writer and write a full-length novel, but have it very cleverly disguised as a full-length illustrated storybook, because my husband doesn't read, partially because he's dyslexic and he has a hard time reading, but he also just doesn't enjoy it. So I'm always like, you should read this book, and he's like, there's no pictures. So he won't be able to say that about my book now because there'll be a lot of pictures in it. And like I'll know it's a success when I get my husband to read the book. So that's what I want to do. And so I stopped, and the nice thing was that I learned enough about how to run a successful business, and I had enough of I haven't done weddings. The last wedding that I did that I got paid for was in 2013, but I have a lot of my clients on payment plans, so all the albums and everything are done, but a lot of them took 1 and 2 year payment plans out. So I still have like $1,000 a month that comes in from clients that the work has been done for months and months and months. So I have new clients that come in and they do that on the boudoir too, because a lot of them, my best-selling package is a $3,000 package, and they get 20 images with it. So I usually throw in a couple more and then just break it down into a year thing, and they get 2 images every month. So they get annoyed at their credit card because they get the bill from the credit card, not from me. You know, so it's not me hassling them. So they don't have any animosity towards me of, oh, you're costing me money every month. I let them be mad at the credit cards, but they do get some of the prints for their box every month, and they get to see it, and it gets to fill the excitement until they have a full box. And because they're on payment plans, that was a really easy way for me to set up a budget for myself, because a lot of the photographers that I talk to are making decent money, but they get scared because it's not guaranteed, you know, and I've done that too. Like I had 1 month in October, and it was October, and between weddings and portrait sessions that I had, I made like $26,000 that month in cash in my bank account. But then I didn't work November and December at all. I made 0. You know, because it was slow for wedding season, and because I was doing other things, and Christmas is family and stuff like that. So that makes my husband insane. He would rather me make $2,000 a month every single month, which comes out to $24,000 a year, than make $25,000 in a single month and then nothing November, December, and January, and then $10,000 and $4,000. Even if at the end of the year I'm looking at $100,000 as opposed to 24, he just wants to be able to budget that set amount every month. And most people are like that, especially when you start thinking about mortgages and utilities and your phone bill and the kids, you know, baseball uniforms and tuition fees and stuff like that. So they start to panic when they have a month that they don't have the money coming in, and they go, oh my God, how am I gonna pay for everything this month? So payment plans were a really easy way that it started, especially because they're a year long, that I started looking and going, oh, okay, well now I know until August 2016 that I'm going to have $2,800 coming in every month. Even if I don't work a session, if I don't make another dime that month, I have that money to rely on. So we budget with that, and then if I book another client and have some crazy amount of money come in, it's just gravy money. It can go into savings, it can go towards something we want to buy, it can pay off, you know, a debt or something like that. So it made budgeting really easy, and that was one of the smartest things I ever did for myself. So really a lot of people have been asking me that, like, how are you going to make money if you don't have clients coming in? Well, I have 2 years until I have to make money based off of the way that I set myself up. So I can give myself that time. So ideally, in theory, once these are done, the nice thing is that if this project works the way it's supposed to, right now there's almost $500 a month coming in for the Reliquarian itself through Patreon, which, if you're not familiar, is like, it's kind of like Kickstarter, except for it's a monthly tuition thing. So it's like a virtual tip jar. It's like throwing change into the guitar case for the performer on the street. People just come onto the site, and if they like what you're doing, they tip you and they commit to a certain fee, and they'll do that every month. So, and it can be anywhere from like 50 cents to $50,000. You can make it any amount of money that you want. So there's money coming in there. So the Reliquarian is self-sustaining every month as long as I don't spend more than $500 on the project. So things like fabric and ribbons and stuff like that, it'll pay for itself, so it's not costing me anything. And then ideally, when we're done, all of the people that are in the project can also buy tutorials, not just on the photography, but like the butterfly book's a really big one. If you go on my Facebook page, I have the butterfly book as my background photo, which just killed me. All of the professional photos that I've released, the most commented on, liked, and shared photo is my Instagram iPhone photo of this book, because they love the book. So everybody wants one. And a lot of the props are scalable too. So like the keys that we made in resin, we have molds for them now so we can cast them. So ideally, people can buy the props, they can buy the dresses and different elements and the designs, and things are getting repurposed and reused. Like this was the undercoating for a different gown that we used for a different shoot. So a lot of it just gets moved back and forth. And then, of course, they'll be able to buy the finished prints. The gallery images will be sold in a limited edition collection. And then the whole thing comes together because it is a full-length novel, too. So once the whole collection is done, we'll have an entire collection available for gallery shows, but then the whole book will get put together, and then that'll go in stores, and I already have the publisher that's interested in that. And to my knowledge, and to his knowledge, we've been going back and forth, it's never been done before. Nobody's ever done like a full-length adult novel that's been fully illustrated like a children's book with this kind of quality of photography and imagery. So it's completely dual, dual interest, because the people that love the art will buy it for the art and then hopefully like, the book, and the people that buy it for the story will buy it for the story and get the benefit of all the art. And they'll probably do 2 versions. So we'll have this fine art version that'll be a hardcover version with all of it, but then the book will be sold as a paperback too. And then there's ebooks, and there's audiobooks, and there's different websites and stuff. So there's a lot of different avenues for income with it. But really, the concept behind the whole thing was to have all the other photographers and creatives follow me too, so that they can kind of watch it develop in real time and see what works and what doesn't, logistically and financially too. So they all saw me work for 3 weeks and post behind the scene photos of the keys, and then it met with a very untimely death with gravity before it made its way into the oven, and we had to start at ground zero. And so they can, and I have like the people that are Patreons that are actually supporting the project are in a private community, so they get like the actual receipts and the stores that we're buying it from. So if they wanted to remake it, they have all of the materials down to what the SKU number is on the ribbon that we bought, so they can buy the same thing. So it just enables everybody to kind of see how it's going and be able to take the parts that they like and build from there. So we'll see. I might not make a dime off of it. It might end up costing me a ton of money, and I might go back to shooting portraits, but I think it worked,
From my know of you, Jess, you're going to make a fortune at it.
That's the idea. I mean, I'm like, the idea is for it to be like Alice in Wonderland meets Game of Thrones, and I'll sell the movie rights, and then invite all the Arcanum to the red carpet event. That's the goal.
I'm in there. I'll stand at the back of the red carpet event there and just wave and say, I know her.
Whatever, you can do that. So we'll see. I have a lot of really cool artists on it, which is really nice too. Like when we did the making of the key, the blog post links back to the artist blog that helped me design it. So, ideally everyone that's working on the project is also getting a lot of notoriety, and they're getting, unrestricted access to my following, because between all the different social media things, I probably have somewhere between 30 and 50,000 people that are connected on different platforms. So, if I can take amazing artists that I know that not everybody else knows and go, look at this incredible stuff that they're doing, then if that works with what they're doing, they can go and attend their workshops and buy their products and stuff like that, which is really nice. So we'll see. It's an experiment.
Looks cool to me. I like it. I've just been
It's a lot of fun.
wondering about it ever since I first saw it, but I've always thought it looked cool.
It's really cool, Jessica.
Good.
It's really cool.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious to see how this one goes in 2 weeks. The shoot for this one is the 22nd to the 24th. And there's so many different elements in it. Like I had to bring my husband in on it as a contractor to actually build the tables sturdy enough that they'll stand 12 feet tall on the legs. Because originally we were talking about cables, and we were going to get like a cherry picker and actually hang pulleys and bring the tables down. And I could just keep them on the ground, shoot them individually and composite the image, but I want to build this big set with like tables at different heights. But we found out, like, when we were starting to set up, like, with the pulleys and stuff, that the problem was that we were essentially creating these giant swings. And I'm putting all this antique porcelain and glass, china, and tableware on it on what is essentially an 8-foot by 4-foot swing. So all we can do is little visits everywhere.
Hey, Jess, before I forget, can you put up a link to your Patreon site somewhere?
Yeah, I can throw it in the chat here. It's really easy. It's just patreon.com/Jessica Lark.
Okay, that's easy.
I try to keep it simple. That's a really, I got to tell you, that's a really great, great site for artists. I really like it. And oddly enough, most of the people that jumped in and supported me were actual apprentices in the Arcanum, oddly enough. They really were. Like, some of them were even mine. I was teasing my one apprentice, Ava, who I love. She came in, and I think she's just a little more personally attached, because she actually, my studio has an open invite. So whenever anybody's in the area, I'm like, come by, come hang out. I'll feed you, because I'm Italian. So she came out when we did the door shoot and actually saw it all come together and like picnicked with us for 4th of July weekend, and we had everybody in, and we set up this door that took us like 6 months to build for the shoot, shot it, and then had everybody over, and we can see the fireworks from our front yard, so everybody brings over lawn chairs, and we grill every 4th of July. So it was like, come and shoot on this very big professional shoot, because I'm a professional. And then we'll have burgers and watch fireworks, like, which is how every element of my life is. So all the Patreons that are on and supporting right now got an invite to come in for the shoot. And the deal was that they could hang out on set, but they had to be prepared to be, handed lights and told to hold this and make sure people don't go falling to their deaths and stuff like that. But the whole weekend's catered, so they're going to come down, and the confectionery artist is just making, like these, like $1,000 worth of desserts, like a dessert table at a wedding kind of thing for this tea party. And I was like, well, I only have to shoot it for like 30 minutes, especially if we prep and dry shoot it the day before. All we got to do is put the cakes and everything up there, get the shot, and bring it down. So then let's bring all the tables down to normal height and sit and have like a great big tea party. So that's exactly what I'm doing. So everybody's going to come. I have like a caterer coming for the event. So we're going to shoot, put the whole thing together, get them in the gowns. It's months and months of work. I'll probably shoot for like 20 minutes. It's very anticlimactic. It's like, you know, it's like premature. Like, I now understand how guys feel. Like, oh, I don't think that I really satisfied you there. I'm sorry, that was faster than I expected it to be. You know, story of my life with all women in lingerie. Yeah, once we're done, like, we've got, you know, all the wine that we did last year from the orchards in the back, because all the trees in the back are fruit trees. So we did pear wine and strawberry wine last year from the gardens. And we have like a big bonfire area out there. Everybody's just going to sit and roast marshmallows and drink a lot of wine and congratulate each other on not, you know, getting hit in the head with falling china, because that's my biggest concern right now. It's a lot of fun, though. Like, right now, like, for me, it's a success because it hasn't cost me anything yet, so it's free because of all the support that we've gotten and other things that we've done and other props that we had. I get to pull all of my favorite artists in a bunch of different areas on it. Everybody's going to eat, drink, and be merry and essentially have a party. And I get to create exactly what I want to create. So I can't think of a better way to spend my time. And I'm not worried about the money. If it makes money, that's awesome. And I plan on it too in the, you know, in the end result. But right now, like, I'm so grateful that I just got to the point that I've built enough of a reputation and notoriety and have enough talent that I can do exactly what I want to do with my time. You know? I think that's success for everyone. Because that's the one thing, like, you can always get a job somewhere else. You can always make money. You can go back to work. You can, you know, do anything to get cash. Time is it. And we're already at least a third, if not halfway through our lives, and we don't know when that ends either. It's not like we have like a countdown to go, I still got time, you know, I still got another 50 years. Like, you don't know. So the more time that I get to spend doing what I want to do with who I want to do, the more I feel like I'm in the right place, you know. And I'm hoping that aside from like apprentices and stuff, that I'm teaching my children that too, because I got probably the same speech as you guys all got, you know. When we're little, we get to be anything we want. Everybody's so encouraging, you know. My daughter wanted to be a princess and my son wanted to be a dinosaur, and I was very encouraging about both of those things. And then they got a little older and I had to explain to my son that he's not a reptile and dinosaurs have been extinct for, you know, millions of years.
Oh, my students tell me I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah. So we might have to pick a different life goal for him. And, you know, then I had to explain to Katie that we don't live in a country that has a monarchy, and she's not from royal blood, and princes are probably in short supply. So, you know, then they change to something else. And, you know, usually it's like, I want to be a singer, an actress, or an artist, or a musician, and they get to do that for a little while until they hit middle school or high school, and then the people that love them, and they do say it from love, start thinking about their future and are like, you should look at being a doctor or a lawyer, something that's going to make money and contribute to society so that you can have a comfortable life. And I don't think that you're supposed to be comfortable. I think you're supposed to be happy. Like, ridiculously everyday happy, even when things are going wrong and things are bad, because I gotta tell you, it hasn't been an easy year. Like, my husband was over in a war zone. I was a single parent all year. I went through surgery twice. I've been really, really sick. You know, we've had things fall apart and break down, and, you know, and there's all the normal things, like the car dies, and, you know, my bathtub upstairs decided to leak, and we didn't catch it for 2 weeks, so all of the drywall in the new kitchen got ruined. We kept trying to figure out why the counters were all wet, and then when he went to fix it, he found out everything behind it was rotted, and we had to do, like, a completely unplanned home renovation. Like, And I hear other people go through that stuff, and they're like, oh my God, it's the worst day ever! And so when everything else around you is really good, though, and then even the bad things aren't bad because they're bad things that are happening in the midst of so much good things and so much like tranquility and just peace, because I think that peace is really just feeling at ease, and that's a lot easier to do when you're happy with where you are in your life. And then it just becomes like really easy to kind of keep the mantra of a bad day is not a bad life, you know? Which I think is an important one, because a lot of people just catastrophize. Like, if this happens, everything is awful, and my whole world is going to fall apart, and, you know, it's the worst day ever, and, like, they get really upset. So it's been really helpful in the last couple of years to just be where I want to be. And I think a lot of people feel like they can't have that, you know? Like, I think they feel like it's out of reach, or it's something that only a few lucky people get to do. But I think most of it is that we just get it beat into our heads from such an early age that to be a useful human being is to contribute financially to the world, and our value and our merit as an adult is based on what we earn and what we do for our careers. That we lose sight of all of the things that made us happy because we're so busy chasing profit. And I think even the people that get to do it with their passion, like most of us are photographers because we love it and our passion is somewhere in that, but then we lose sight of it because we go, but we have to make money to justify all the time we're spending on this. So I have to go and chase those funds, and I'll take a marketing class, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And, you know, if I'm not making money, then I'm failing at it. And, you know, like, there's bills, there's things we have to do because we're adults, there's other people that depend on us, but that's not, profit will always follow passion. I have found that. So I think it's truth now. I think that if you really center in on what you do and you love it, and I mean, like, you really love it and you're really excited, like, you just start to attract other people that are excited about the fact that you're excited. People get excited about the stupidest things that I'm interested in. And they make fun of me because they know that I'm a little bit nuts. You know, but they do. Like, I can get people on, there's 36 different artists, easy, and models and, you know, makeup people that are working on this project right now, and nobody is getting paid for it in real time. I'm not paying for their time. I'm covering all the expenses. Like, I bought all the supplies for the confectionery artist that's building everything, you know, and when I have my gown designer design something, I pay for their supplies, but everybody's so excited because everybody gets to do exactly what they love. And everybody's excited that they're doing it. All they do is get applause all day long. And we just get in and we go nuts with it. And it's to the point that, like, people make fun of me all the time because they think that I'm crazy. And it's usually the people that are closest to me that are here to see the crazy. You know, like, they were teasing me. They're like, you've never, ever gotten high before. Ever. Like, you never smoked a joint. And I was like, no. And my makeup artist goes, I don't want to see you high. Ever. And I said, why? And she goes, look, I'll do an impression of you, okay? So, like, what I want to do is, like, I want to get these people and I want to strip them naked, okay? And I'm going to take this baby pool, you know, like a big plastic baby pool. And I'm going to cover it in PVC pipe and Mod Podge, and I'm going to make it into a giant orange. And then I'm going to put those people in that orange, and then I'm going to take a picture. And she's like, except for you do that when you're sober, so I don't want to know what you come up with when you're under the influence of anything else. You know? And I was like, that's probably a good point, actually. You know? But I think I just get so excited about it that people just get excited with me because they're like, I don't know what we're excited about, but I'm on board. Let's go do this. Because I'm like, guys, Mackenzie makes fun of me all the time because when I get excited, I do this. That's my I have an idea thing. It's like fireworks inside, and it just explodes out of my hands because I'm an Italian woman and I talk with them all the time. So I'm like, oh! And she's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. We're working on the dress right now. Don't tell me your next idea until we finish it. So I think whatever gets you to do this, that's what you should be focusing on, and that's what has the potential to make you the most money and then your dream job starts to support your dream life because you never work. Like, this is play for me. Like, I'm playing dress up right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing I did at 5 years old. Except for now, people are like, I want to know what you're doing. I want to buy a print of that. I want to learn how to do that. I want to hang out with you. So all the things that made me weird as a kid are what's making me really successful as an adult now. And obviously, you can tell by my tone of voice, like, I'm not interested in it at all.
You know, it's simple. Your creative mind is open. That's, you know, and most people, as they get older, that creativity just kind of goes away. They all had it when they were kids. They all played. They all had a good time. They all imagined. They all dreamed. They, you know, but as they get older and become adults, then they kind of forget about the creativity and worry about the bills.
Well, I think they're taught that, though. You know, I think they, you know, they get told, even me, you know, even when I first started, the whole first year that I was doing this, the one question I got asked more than anything else was, when are you going to get a real job? When are you going to stop playing at this and be a grown-up? You know?
I get asked that, too.
Yeah. You know,
I've been there.
It was really rewarding for me the one day because, you know, and people do it from a sense of love. I really do believe that people, you know, they're worried about you not being able to survive, especially if you have families and stuff like that. Like, if I don't make any money, I don't pay my bills, and my mortgage company doesn't care about my passion and my artistic nature. They want their check, you know, along with the utility bills and everything else. And I have two amazing, wonderful children who you saw are completely well-behaved and very well-mannered when they ran through here earlier. And if I don't take care of them, then they're not taken care of. So that's my responsibility. That's a valid thought and concern.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that people come from a place of love of going, you know, saying I want you to grow up, get a real job is saying I want you to take care of yourself because I love you and I want you to be taken care of. And I love my grandchildren and I want them to be taken care of, or my niece and my nephew or whatever. It is coming from a place of love, just misguided love and not well communicated love. And what we hear is, you don't believe in my dreams and you don't think I'm good enough to actually make this a reality. And maybe you're right. It always follows with that. Every time that we have somebody that talks down to us or says that we're not good enough or we can't do it or we don't deserve it or we should stop, we always have this inner dialogue with ourselves that goes, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't do it. Maybe I'm not going to make any money. Maybe I will lose my house. Oh my God, if I lose my house, I won't be able to put a roof over my kids' heads. Maybe I'm being really selfish right now, and why can't I see past that? Maybe I do need to grow up. Maybe I should set this down and set this aside right now. Because we start hearing that from childhood. When was the first time that you started hearing, you know, you should really give up this art stuff. You'll be a starving artist. You know, you'll never make any money. Grow up. There's this point where we started hearing that over and over. And for some of us, it started as young as 4 and 5 years old when we started being told we couldn't be princesses and dinosaurs. And then we started being told you're not going to be the next Beyonce because one out of how many million people actually get that opportunity. It probably won't be you. And the thing is that they're right. It probably won't. But it's got to be someone. Somebody does become
that. You've got to try.
Yeah, somebody does become that. And you know who the person is that becomes that? The person that has the people going, absolutely it can be you. Or the person that believes enough in that and in their passion and in the purpose that is behind that passion that they don't listen to that. Because the problem is that all those voices, our parents, our loved ones, adults, friends and family around us, mentors, masters, anybody telling you that you shouldn't be doing what is just in your heart and soul to do, those voices become our internal voices. And we hear them all the time echoing around us, even when those people aren't saying those things. All the time. You know, it is my goal in life to build my children to have strong enough internal voices that anytime anybody says, you can't do this, their response is, watch me.
Yeah. I agree there. You've got to try. And you can be a great artist, but and never make it money-wise, but you'll always survive with your art if it's good. Edward Weston, look at him. You know, do I buy bread or do I buy a piece of film? Well, it's a piece of film, of course. Somebody will feed me, or I'll find some food somewhere. That's the way he lived, you know, and it worked for him. And we are the recipients of fantastic images to be created. I mean, you know, he used to shoot his dinner. He used to go to the store and buy peppers and shoot peppers, and that's what he had for dinner, you know, because that's what he could afford. You know, and that's the way he made it work. And he didn't make a lot of money. He wasn't like Ansel Adams that made quite a bit of money, or even Bruce Birnbaum. I'm reading Bruce's book right now, and you know, and it just happens to be that some people are able to sell their art because it connects more with people, and some people can't.
Yeah, I think you know, I think it's important too. Like, part of the reason that I wrote the blog post called "The Worst Boudoir Photographer Ever" is that I think that people come into contact with people that they're inspired by, and they forget that we all started at the same line. Like, there's a start line for everyone, and it's difficult for people to remember, you know, that we had images that sucked. Like, because that first session, it sucked. Like, it didn't just suck, like, it sucked. Like, it was really, really bad. And I knew nothing. Like, I knew nothing about photography. I never, ever, like, picked up a camera, took a camera class. Even in grade school, like, I didn't know anything about it. So when they told me that amateurs shoot on the green square and that masters shoot manually and actually control their settings, I turned it off the green square and put it to the silhouette of the head, because I was taking pictures of people. And so I was smart enough to figure out that I didn't want the mountain or the flower or the little speed running guy, you know? So that was it. I was shooting on manual that first one like a real pro. And I went to eBay and I bought this really expensive lighting kit, a whole full studio lighting kit for $120. It was a big investment. It was, you know, like the halogen bulbs, and then I read something else that said that real studios use flashes, so I bought another kit, and I think that one was like $250. That was a really big investment. Lighting's really expensive, and I sent it back twice before the shoot because the lights were broken, because, you know, it was a shoddy eBay one, and they wouldn't fire. Like, the strobes wouldn't fire. And so when I finally got the third kit that they sent me, and they were like, we tested it, it works, it's great, we're sending it to you, and it still didn't work, it was too late because it was the day before. And it wasn't until about 2 weeks later, because I shot the whole thing on just the modeling light. So every single one of these pictures is dark, it's underexposed, there's motion blur because the camera was controlling the settings and I didn't understand that. I didn't even know what motion blur was. I thought my camera was broken. You know, they were so grainy and soft. And the lighting was on auto balance, but the strobes weren't firing, so it's like red light special the whole way through. Like, her skin is like this hazard cone orange. It looks like she just survived like some superhero meltdown kind of thing, and now she'll get, like, you know, fast running powers. And about 2 weeks after the session, I had a photographer friend that came in and looked at it, and I was like, I can't figure out why it won't work. I can't get it to fire the strobes. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, what kind of triggers are you using? And I was like, what's a trigger? And he's like, do you have pocket wizards, or what did you put on the camera to tell the strobes to sync them, to fire? I was like, what? And he's like, your lights aren't broken, you're an idiot. So, and this company that sold me them were so nice. They just kept replacing them and telling me that they didn't know what it was and maybe it broke during the thing. But no, it wasn't that my lights were broken. It was that I didn't know that you needed a trigger to tell the lights that it was time to fire in sync with the shutter. I just thought, you know, there was some kind of telepathy going on there. So it was bad. Like, and the images looked like they were shot in that kind of scenario. Like, it really was. And so she loved them, though, you know, because of, now she wouldn't accept them. Now if she ran into a photographer that shot her like I shot her then, she would be like, oh, no. And, but she loved them at the time, and she called me for the session. She had posed for a body painting series I was doing, which was how I got into photography. Photography found me. And she was like, well, she's like, my boyfriend's going overseas. He's deploying. He really likes like the World War II Varga Girl style pinups. Could you do something like that for me? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, great. How much do you charge? And I was like, she wants to charge me. And my husband's like, then tell her a price. And so I got back on the phone and I was like, listen, you know, I'm really business savvy. I know what I'm doing. So, listen, I'm really booked up, but I think that I can fit you in. My prices are really high, though. It's going to be like $75 for the session. And she was like, okay. And I hung up the phone and was like, I'm going to get paid to take pictures. She wants to pay me to take pictures of her. I just did this with her 2 weeks ago for free, and she's going to pay me to do it. And so I shot the most awful session ever, and I posted them on my MySpace blog, and I got 2 other calls from 2 other girls asking what my rates were. And it took me, I did her hair and makeup myself, and it was like girly sleepover. Like, my daughter's doing this now with her, you know, with her friends from school, and they do each other's hair, and they braid, and they wear lipstick that looks like clown makeup, and, you know, play dress up with all the dress. That's what I did. That's what I got paid to do that day, was to play. And it was 3 hours of work to do her hair and makeup, shoot her, and I gave her a disc with all of the high-res images like a real pro in the digital age for $75. You know, and so when I tell that story now, people like to laugh because they go, oh, well, you get paid, you know, $2,000 to $5,000 a session. You can, you know, you can laugh at how stupid that was and how cheap it was. But I still look at that and I stop and I think, really, my camera was paid for. I didn't have any overhead. I shot it in my bedroom of my house. I did her hair and makeup with, like, my makeup kit that I personally use on my face, which is really bad. I would never recommend that now. You know, and my curling iron that was in the bathroom, and I took pictures of her. I gave her a disc and sent her on her way. 3 hours of work for $75, no overhead to me. I didn't pay to rent a studio or anything else, and I got paid essentially $25 an hour, which is more money than either of my parents have ever made in their lives at jobs that they have hated. So it's all perspective and how you look at it. You know, was I a high-end photographer? No, absolutely not. Was I a momopher? Yeah. Should I have known that you needed a trigger to make strobes fire? Yeah. I should have probably known what the settings were on the camera too. And I'm a smart girl, so I go to Google and I read it. And a couple weeks after that, I went to my first seminar, and it was a beginner's class, and the photographer teaching goes, does anybody know what the 3 settings are that control the light in your camera? And I went, oh, me, because I'm a teacher's pet, call on me. And so he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's the shutter speed and the aperture and the ISO. And
Exactly.
the ISO? And I was like, yeah, that. And he's like, oh, you're going to be fun today, you know? And I sat down. I was the only girl in the class. You know, boudoir was just, they weren't even calling it boudoir. It was just like girl photography. It was like girl magazine photography, like Playboy's kind of stuff. And that's what he shot. And he shot for Maximum Playboy and stuff like that. And there were all these photographers that had been in it for 10, 20 years. Most of them had day jobs. You know, he'd been doing it for a while. He was the only photographer I knew in that area that was working as a full-time photographer. And that was really at the very beginning of when digital really started to take over. Like, you weren't seeing people that weren't photographers carrying around DSLRs. You know, that was when it really started to break wide open. And, you know, I remember them telling me that it was going to be 10 years before I would make enough money to afford my studio, that it would be 5 years before I was making enough money to actually pay for just my equipment and my glass and space rentals and things like that, and probably 5 to 7 years before I would even be able to think about being out of the red and into the black. And I did it in 2.5. And it's not because I have all this incredible talent. Those pictures will show you I did not, and I didn't have any knowledge. I didn't have anybody opening doors for me or helping me along. It was just the work. And that reverts back to what I was saying about people should be focusing on what they really love, because if you're not doing something that you want to do in your free time, you get burnt out. Like, you just do. It's just exhausting. We have so much stuff all day, every day, demanding our time and our energy, from our family and our loved ones to our pets, to our work, to our house and our chores and the laundry and dishes. And, if you're not doing what you love, you get exhausted because there's so many things, and you set it aside and you go, I don't want to do that right now. And then it piles up even higher and you burn out and you end up not doing it. Money is not a strong enough motivator to keep that from happening, But when you're doing what you really love to do, when you're doing the thing that when you get home from a long day of work, and you fed the kids and you put them to bed and everything's aside and you've 2 hours before bed, if you have something that you like doing enough that it's worth getting up off the couch and not just watching 2 hours of mindless TV to just zen out, whatever that thing is, that's what you should be doing with all your time, and that's what you should be looking to get paid for, because you will put more time, more energy, and more effort into that than you will anything else. And that's really all that's required for success, is just hard work. And when it doesn't feel like work, you don't mind doing it. It is not uncommon for me to go lock myself in the studio for 10, 15, 20 hours without coming up for air, especially if Mike is off duty and is home to grab the kids. They come over and say hi because they haven't seen me in a day or two. They want to know what I'm interested in. And it's to the point that even my kids know. They're like my daughter will come over and she'll close the screen for me because she knows that if she doesn't, that I can't hear her with what I'm doing, if I'm writing or I'm reading or in things. And they know, they know how much it is, but they also are seeing that they can take anything that they want to do with their time and energy and make that their thing, And I see it in Katie, because she's 9. When she was 7, she's like, Mom, I want an iPad. And I was like, well, I want a Ferrari. Let's work on that. And she's like, I think it's time I get a job. And I was like, okay. I like where this is going. What would you like to do? And she's like, I helped you with all of the coffee filter flowers, and I'm better at it than you are. And I was like, yes, you are. And she's like, I would like you to open a Facebook page for my business, and I would like to make flowers and watch some more of the YouTube tutorials on how to do this stuff, and I could sell them in a little shop online. And I was like, all right. So she did, and she sat down and she made all these flowers, and then she would come in and she would ask me to record them on my phone, and she would do these little videos and say hi, and she named her store The Lovely Lark, which I thought was too cute, and I'm not biased at all, and so I have this gorgeous little 7-year-old girl, and she is beautiful. I'm totally biased, but she is beautiful. And she's like, hi, I'm the most adorable 7-year-old you've ever seen in your life, and I just made this flower out of coffee filters, and you can buy it in my shop. I named it the Gigi flower because yellow roses are my great-grandmother's favorites, and if you buy enough of them, I will get my iPad. And I was like, the amount of flowers this child sold was unbelievable. And so people were like, I don't have the time and energy to market, and I don't know enough about business to be successful. And for a couple of weeks, that was my argument, was I would just send them the iPhone video of Katie, and I was like, well, you just said that my 7-year-old is more of an expert than you, because she just made enough money to buy her iPad with coffee filters at 7. Next argument, please. So it really does, it just depends on what you want to do and how bad you want it, because if you want it bad enough, you'll get it. I really, really believe that with every fiber of my being. It's just deprogramming. Most of what I do, and Bruce can tell you because he's in my cohort too, most of what I do is just deprogram people's thought processes. I don't really teach them much of anything in the Arcanum when they come in. Like, we're not technology based. I'm not a tech girl. You know, there's the different assignments and the levels and things they complete, but most of what they're learning is who they really are and what they really want in the foundation levels. And then Sphere 1, we sat down and I said, okay, here you are, where do you want to be? And whatever that answer was, we sat down and figured that out, and then it was really easy to backtrack from that point and go, okay, well, you're at point A and you want to get to E, which is over here, so step 1 is B and step 2 is C. And, you know, we worked on, like with Lars, he wanted the gallery show. So it was, okay, you have to have, gallery is different than just creating images. You have to have the portfolio for it. You know, you have to have a consistency throughout that says that all these pieces fit together as a collection. So let's work on that. What do you want to do? Let's see all the pieces you have. His level 14 critique, we went through and figured out exactly which images would stay in the gallery show and where they would be on the walls in relation to each other so that it told the story and went through. And
That was
then
a great
it
hangout,
was,
by the way. That was
Say that
fun to watch.
it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Let's move this one over here, and let's see them all in the Lightroom. And we were both really excited about it because it was really neat, and it was really cool to watch him put this together. And he was excited because he knew we were designing the show that was going to hang on the walls, which was what he wanted to do. And then it was, you know, how he was going to list them and what the prices were going to be and doing research in the area and what the galleries had told him for. And so when you have, like, those accomplishable tasks and they're broken down into smaller things, all of a sudden it doesn't look really scary. Like, people get upset. People think, like, every single person that comes in and talks about money, they laugh when they tell me what they want to make because they think it's ridiculous. They're like, like $100,000? And that seems like unachievable to them because of where they are now. But then we start breaking it down, and sometimes it's smaller than that. Like, I had one person that thought that it was, like, unreasonable and, like, not possible for them to make $60,000 a year just with their art. You know, that was like a dream come true to them. And they're like, that's so much money. Well, when you start breaking it down and you're like, well, really, that's $5,000 a month. Okay, well, that still sounds like an awful lot of money. Okay, well, you're looking at basically $1,250 a week. That's one session a week. 4 sessions. You only have to work 4 days a month at $1,250 to make that. That still sounds too high. Yeah, I can't charge $1,250. All right, well, let's do 8 sessions and bring it down to $600. How does that sound? That's still, I still don't think I can charge that. Okay, let's bring it down again. We'll do, you know, we'll do 16 sessions at $300 a month. Can you do that? Yeah, that's like what the low people around me are charging. Oh, and you still only have to work every other day of the month. You're still only working 16 days out of a 30 to 31 day month. That's more than everybody else that's working their day jobs 9 to 5, you know? So you're working less and making more. You know, that's where it starts to break down. And we were talking about that with the, you know, you either shoot high end or high volume. Like, then it just becomes personal preference. If you want to make $4,000 a month, do you want to make that? Because I can do that in one session. I can book one session and make $4,000, which means I have 29 other days that I don't have to work. You know, if I really, really love it, you know, and I want to shoot more often, or I don't want to shoot at that high a price point because it puts too many people out of the call, then I can go down and shoot at a lower amount and go, oh, well, I'm only going to shoot at $1,000 a session, but I'll shoot 4 of them a month. Or I'll shoot at $500 a session and shoot 8 of them a month. Or I'll shoot at $250 and shoot 16 of them a month. Do you start to see how I'm making the same amount of money a month, whether I'm shooting high end or low end? So you can build your business model around either way and be just as happy. It just depends, you know. In another 8 years, 10 years, both of my kids will graduate high school and I'll be an empty nester. I will have nothing to do with my time. And if I spend all of that with my husband, who will also be retired from the military, we will kill each other. So then I might look at shooting several more sessions a month or a week in order to fill my time, because I'll have the time to do it. Right now, I like that I got to go to my son's baseball game this morning and that I'm not at a wedding on a Saturday. You know, we're getting to the age that I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to go to my daughter's horseback riding lessons. I want to be able to hang out for 3 hours with you while I stitch my dress. You know? So it's just about what you want to do. Bruce, I think that's totally doable. I don't think, especially with where your art quality is right now, I don't see that as being hard at all.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that feedback, because that feels ambitious to me. But that's my current feeling. Actually, I've been bouncing a plan off some women in my area to see what they think of the product that I'm putting together, which I'm starting to work out, and I hope to launch it sometime in June if I can, depending on how my other work goes. But I haven't had a single woman. I haven't described this to a single woman yet without having had her eyes light up.
Nice.
It's basically based on stealing ideas from other people and then turning them into my own. But it involves getting booking the thing, and having a makeup artist and possibly a hairstylist, bringing everybody to a hotel room in a nice boutique hotel, booked in the name of the client, who then gets to keep the hotel room for the night. She's encouraged to come with friends for the same booking fee.
Right.
Booking fee is just the getting them in the door. The products, the stuff that's sold after, is where the money gets made.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We do like a partial or a big makeover, basically, with the hair and makeup. Put them in the nice clothes, the nice stuff that they brought with them, and do whatever kind of shoot. I'm putting it forward as boudoir, but it doesn't have to be boudoir. It can be any kind of shoot in the hotel room, with individually and with the group if there's a group. This could also be sold to tourists who come to town, because I live in a tourist town. It could be sold to couples, and it can be sold to either newlyweds or people who are just about to get married. And we do the session. We do the session for the base rate, which covers all of the expenses plus a little bit, and then most of the money gets made in the sales afterwards, because that includes 1 8x10, and that's all.
Okay.
And
yeah, that's a great idea.
And then afterwards, there's possibly an album, possibly a print book, a print box. I haven't yet worked that part out. That I want to talk to you about.
Whoever gave you the idea to charge a fee and then have that included was brilliant. That business model is the smartest business model I've ever heard.
I don't know who gave me that idea. That just seemed natural. Was that you that gave me that idea? Because that just seemed
exactly how I run mine.
All right, well, there you go. That just seemed the right way to go. I was trying to put it together, and I went, "Whoa, I have to have an upfront fee, or they're not going to be serious." And using it to pay for a nice hotel room that they get to keep for the night and have girls' night out based in a hotel room. You know, the women I've described this to have all their eyes have gone like saucers, and they've gone, "I would love that. That would be great. When are you going to start doing that?" Of course, I can't book them yet because I haven't put it all together yet. But
well, get on it.
Well, I am on it. I'm just finishing my semester first.
Get on it harder.
My semester's done. I've got a makeup artist on the hook already, and I'm looking for a good hairstylist. If possible, I'll get somebody who can do both in the same motion, because then it'll cost me less. But for now, I'm doing what I can do. And I'm also I'm going around to a couple of hotels, and I'm trying to make deals with them, because I'd rather go to the same place all the time and have them know what I'm doing, and have them in on it, because that'll also become a marketing tool later.
We did that, and the market for it's so big. I mean, I do mostly boudoir, but I also do a lot of like glamour and beauty work too. So we did a couple of them last year where they were actually younger girls. Like, we had the one girl that was 16, and they did it for her 16th birthday, and that's exactly what it was. We rented out the penthouse Mac Daddy suite at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City, and they kept it for the weekend, and you know, they went to like a Broadway show and a really nice dinner too. They came in. We had both of my hair and makeup artists in. We did all of their hair and makeup. It was her and like 6 of her friends. And then we did these amazing photos in this incredible suite. And I'm telling you right now that when you start doing group photos like that, where you have 5 and 6, you're not looking at 4-figure sales per session. You're looking at 5 and 6-figure sales.
Well, and honestly, that's what I'm hoping for ultimately. My goal is to actually market it as saying, look, it's a $600 booking fee, and that's a booking fee whether you book it alone or whether you book it with 4 friends. And if you all split the booking fee, it's exactly the same fee if you do that. And I'm going to try to work it out. When I say I'm looking at between 600 and so on, the booking fee has to leave me in a position where I've at least paid for everything, so that there's no debt involved. And of course, my makeup artist and my hairdresser are going to charge me per head.
Well,
Deal with
when
that.
I do a single session in the studio, because I do that too, if somebody comes into the studio,
Yeah.
they can bring a friend for free.
Right.
It doesn't cost extra. It's a $500 fee anytime anybody wants to book me. That's paid in advance, and that's non-refundable. That's what it costs to book the studio.
Absolutely.
So they come in. That covers their hair and makeup and the studio session. So they come in, they get their hair and makeup done, we shoot them, and then after the session, as soon as they're done, I have an in-house massage therapist that works with us.
You told me about that. I've been thinking about massage. I've been thinking of just stealing that.
Yeah, steal it. Absolutely. Go for it.
But I'm pretty sure I can afford it.
So I have, they're not, well, I don't know where they are by you, but they're like somewhere between $40 and $70 for an hour.
Yeah.
So I have that offered, and he has a friend that's another massage therapist, so if I have like a couple come in, I can do a couples massage too and have them both in. But they pay $500 to come in. That covers my hair and makeup artist. My studio is mine. I'm paying for it anyway, so it's not like I'm paying to rent a hotel room with an overhead.
The hotel room is turning a liability into a virtue. Basically, I don't have a studio. I don't want to rent studios all the time because that's just rented studio space.
No, I love your idea of letting them keep it for the night. That's a great selling feature.
Yeah, I don't have the studio. I don't have the space, so why not rent the space and then give it to them?
Yep, I love it.
So
I love it.
Their name, and then I pay for it out of the fee they gave me.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully the hotel gives me a discount.
You should be paying for your time too, though. That's my only argument with this is whatever the fee is. If you're paying for your makeup artist and your hairstylist and you're paying for the hotel, you should be paying for your photographer too. Think like a business owner. Who you are as the owner of a business is different than who you are as a photographer. They're 2 different things. So as the owner of your studio, you pay your staff, and that includes the photographer, whether it's you or somebody else clicking the shutter.
The way it looks to me right now is the makeup and hair will probably cost me about $150 if it's one woman.
Okay. And at minimum, you should be making the same.
Yeah, and the hotel room will probably cost me around $200.
Okay.
So I've got a $600 fee, and the reason for that is it gives me, right with that, it gives me the rest. So it gives me about $250, or rather, it gives me about $350, I should say. But if I have 3 women in, then the hair and makeup's going to be more, but I'm still getting paid.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And the upside of that is I'm selling more product at the end.
Because with mine, they'll pay $500. They'll come in, and they'll have their hair and makeup, and and the massage therapist after if they want it. It's about half and half. Like half of them just don't want the massage therapist. Yeah. I like it because while they're doing after the session, I hand them over. I have an hour in between, and that gives me time because I do my viewing session the same day. So that gives me.
Figure out how to work that in. That would be good.
So if you're running a really nice hotel, chances are they have a really nice flat screen, and you can probably plug it in right there. And I'm telling you that if you have 5 girls that are all giddy and made up, and you show them the images, that your sales will double if you do it the day of.
That's
what
I want.
Oh my God, the photo's so good of you! Look at how great your boobs look in that shot. And she'll be like, "You're right. Let's make that a 20 by 30." Like it's just they feed off of each other, the energy of it. Yeah. That's why when I was doing weddings, I would do champagne receptions and invite the family and the bridal party to come in. and I would pay for the party, because when everybody's on it and there's combined energy, they'll invest more because they understand the value of it better.
Yeah.
So they go in and they have the session, hair, makeup, the photo shoot, and then the massage therapist. If they don't, then I just excuse myself and tell them, you know, go ahead, get all your stuff together. The general rule is if you leave anything behind, you can come back and get it, but I can't guarantee it won't end up on somebody else in the meantime, especially shoes. And so while they're getting all their stuff together, I go downstairs, and the first floor of my studio is a movie theater. It's like a big presentation room. And so I'll go down, download all the images onto my laptop, and I just go through them real quick. Anything that the flash didn't fire, or there's motion blur, or, you know, she looks exceptionally unattractive in because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Or like
this.
Yeah, the half blink kind of thing.
Yeah. Or she was talking.
I'll get rid of all of them, and then I look through it from the standpoint of a photographer and go, every single image that I agree to sell her is an advertising image for me. So I get rid of anything that I don't want my name on, and that usually leaves somewhere between 30 and 50 frames to choose from, depending on how long the session was. Right. So they'll come down, and usually I'm trying to fill a 20-image box. So at 30 to 50, I still have between 10 and 30 to get rid of. So she, according to my client, they get to pick the images that they love, that they really love, but they're picking from pre-selected ones that I already love.
Right.
And
you haven't edited them in any way yet either. They're just they're the base thing.
No, but I do have a setting on my projector that warms it up, and I soften the focus so everything looks a little more friendly. You know, because everything looks good on an 1.5-inch screen on the back of your thing, so I will warm it up a little, but I don't retouch them. And what I usually do though is that I'll show them a before and after from another session so that they can see, you know, these are just proofs. You know, most people understand that because they have Instagram filters, and, you know, people understand that things are retouched now, so they don't worry about it, you know. And if they're like, oh, I'm like, girlfriend, don't worry about it. Nobody's seen a picture of me without a digital tummy tuck in 5 years. There will be no marks. There will be no, you know, no blemishes. We can get rid of anything you want. Don't worry about it.
I'm tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I have my third, since I decided to do this, I've got my third boudoir shoot tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. with a model.
Awesome.
And this one's actually slightly alternative. So
okay.
She's got an alternative look. She's got lots of tattoos. She's got piercings. And the idea is I'm actually doing it with two things. I'm also taking a class right now, and I'm going to use her as my model for my assignment as well. But
okay.
Because I'm doing the end of my class. I've been doing a diploma in digital photographic imaging at Concordia University. It's basically nice. 240 hours of in-class Photoshop lessons.
That's awesome.
And so this is the last class I'll have the diploma after June. But
very cool.
Which of course I'm going to use as a market. The reason I want the diploma is for marketing. I don't actually need to finish it to learn anything at this point. Well, I do, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm doing it with her. I've got two other shoots. The first one was kind of iffy, but I've got a few images from it that are good. And when I do my next critique with you, which will be as soon as I'm able to breathe, the moment I'm able to get some breathing space, I'll be throwing up images from these shoots. And I'm looking at basically putting out a portfolio with these three different women, and one of them is like a young blonde, white bread, nice looking, you know, sort of. She's 26 or 27, and you know, and she posed. Incidentally, she posed in her boyfriend's hockey jersey because she insisted.
It can be done. I have seen them done well. I've done one or two.
Yeah, she did some other stuff too.
Personally, I would never ever be like, I have an idea for a shoot.
Oh, it wasn't my idea. This was not my idea, but she really, really wanted it, and that's the one she gave to her boyfriend in a 17 by 22 inch print.
Oh yeah, I had a girl that came in for a bridal shoot, you know, for bridal boudoir, and it was a big deal that she took a picture in his jersey because her family and his family are both really big sports fans for rival teams.
Right. Yeah.
So it was blasphemy for her family that she wore his jersey because it's their rival team, and that was her declaring her love and loyalty and allegiance to her new husband. It was really cute. Like, I love the idea of it. I'm not a big sports person. I couldn't care less. You know?
Yeah.
All I know about football is that they run around in their helmets and they try to get it to the other end. Like,
Cool.
you know, I don't even know the rules.
So
I'm not. I could understand why other people totally love them and find them attractive, and that's what I mean. Like, nobody's ever come in with a concept that I've gently steered them away or amended them to make them good in certain times, because a lot of times that's what they're coming to you for, is the expertise to be able to go, that might not be the best idea. We might want to leave the latex outfit and just do like a nice button-down shirt and the glasses to get the idea of the naughty teacher instead of like
the slutty teacher from the costume store.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
The second one is a shoot I did with a beautiful 50-year-old black woman. And the third one is this alternative model I've got from Model Mayhem, who's all tattooed and pierced and really excited about the shoot actually, but I'm paying her. And she's actually also going to do some alternative like slightly edgy little kinky things that I'm going to use, because there's a large community of alternative folks in Montreal.
I'm just dying to know what you're doing right now.
What's that?
I'm just dying to know what Lisa's doing right now. I'm watching her carry us around with her everywhere. Makes me really excited that like 2.5 hours later, she's still this interested.
Well, I was waiting for a break because they just finished my car, so I need to drive home. But I just wanted to tell you before I hang up that this has been the awesomest hangout that I've been in a long time, and then it helped me kill like 3 hours at the dealership. Without it, I mean, it just like the last 3 hours just kind of went by like in the blink of an eye. I came out, now my car is clean. I got to hang out with you guys, so it's been awesome.
We knew you were there, and this was all for you. We all got together and were like, Lisa's going to be bored. We better go entertain her.
Well, see, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into the Path of the Protege community. I'm going to work on some feedback and stuff. And then I saw your thing. I'm like, oh, look, Jess is on. Let's check out what's going on there, you know? And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, I've been at the dealership since 10, and it's, what, like 2 now? So, like 4 hours at the dealership, and it just went by like nothing, so.
Good, I'm glad. Well, on that note, I got to go, too, because I do actually have
so do I.
to go, too.
Thanks for the
guys.
feedback.
It's been cool.
You guys all hung out. John,
Bye,
I was
safe,
going to
Lisa.
hang out with you a little bit.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks for this, Jess.
Bruce, I'm really glad that we got to hang out. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. I'm super excited to hurry up and get to a critique level so we can do a one-on-one.
Well, I'm at 13. I just have to post the photos, and I just don't have time to get them up. That's
Good
it.
on.
Yeah, no,
I would be super excited if you would make that a priority.
It is a priority, but I have a stack like this I have a stack, waist high of papers to mark and a deadline.
Okay.
And, so I have to do that first. But as soon as it's done,
Right. I can't hear you over all the excuses. What was that?
As soon as it's done, my Arcanum Hangout is the next priority.
Okay.
So it'll be a couple
wow.
weeks. But the moment it's done, I really, really am. Seriously, in June, you can expect me to blast through a bunch of levels very quickly.
Good. Sounds good.
That's my plan, anyway. So, and I'm hoping to hit level 20 by July. And just do Path of the Protege then.
That sounds awesome, because I'm really excited to get you up on the path.
And me too, actually. So good. So we'll talk soon, Jess. Thanks for
right,
this. Thanks for all
good.
the feedback. It's great. Cheers. Nice to meet you, other guys.
Hi, Jack. You've been like hanging in and out, but you haven't like checked in and said anything. But I miss you and hi. He just muted himself too. He's like, I'm not participating. So, all right. Well, I have to go, and but it was fun, John. I'm glad we got to hang out for a little bit. It was nice to meet you virtually.
Yeah. I got a couple of quick questions.
Go ahead.
That's one. I think I'm finished with one. I posted up there at the end of the thing, but I've already emailed Rodney. Does he have access to the site?
yeah, if he put you in there and introduced you, then he's in the community, which is the only way that anybody can add a master, so, or a protege.
So he can take a look and stuff. I told him I sent him some of the stuff that that second stepping stone, the suggestions of what the master can do and stuff. I sent him that, but he can go over and see the master stuff and all that. So okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
And then as you're ready to move up levels, you just have to go into the Hall of Records, and you'll see a button there that says, "I'm ready to."
Right, I did that on that post that you had.
Okay, great. Yeah. And then really, Bob Young is the tour guide kind of thing. So since you're new, if you're getting in, if you have any questions about how anything works or what's where, you can just drop him a line and he will either hang out with you and walk you through it or just, have a chat conversation back and forth.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah. So yeah, go talk to him and tell him I sent you and he'll take care of you. And of course, you can always reach out to me too. That's fine.
Yeah. Keep it on Bob for a while.
Yeah.
You're busy.
Everybody's busy. You make time for what matters. Okay, other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Pretty
Awesome.
simple.
Okay.
Hey, you have a good afternoon, huh?
You too, John. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.